disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. Just, I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
We just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing.
Lobito! Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
All right. Welcome everybody to the Boxing Podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. As your good friend, Mr. BDA, flying solo for the moment. But of course, we're going to be remedying that within the next, I would say, half an hour, perhaps. Listen, it's another Open Lines Friday, that is, which means everybody is welcome. And of course, we're going to be focusing on the Pacquiao Ugas weigh-in for that big pay-per-view fight that's going to be taking place tomorrow night. My goodness gracious, let me tell you fellas, it is the return of Pacquiao and he's up against an opponent that could present an array of problems. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that. We're going to be discussing all the possibilities for tomorrow's night's fight. But before we do that, shout out to all the BDA members, everyone who's become a BDA member. Shout out to you fellas, really appreciate it, really helps us out. You get access to the special icons, badges, and GIFs. And of course to the BDA film analysis. I'm going to be dropping the Benavides one tonight, so stay tuned for that one. And I'm going to be posting an entire catalog of film analysis there for your enjoyment. It's going to be an array of current fighters and past fighters as well. I'm going to be analyzing all of that. And by the way, of course, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. That really helps us out. And just generally spread the BDA gospel. All right, so fellas, the weigh-in is going to be taking place. They said it was going to be at 5 p.m. Well, wouldn't you know it? It's already 5:04, and they have not started the weigh-in. So I don't know, unexpected snafus perhaps. Of course, it already happened with the Wilder Fury 3, and then. But anyway, listen, we're going to keep an eye on it, and we're going to be discussing this fight. It is going to be an open Discord, so everyone's invited. I'm going to be dropping the link, but before we do that, I'm just going to read a couple of things here and sort of prep everybody for the fight tomorrow. Before we do that, shout out to the Iceman, Shin Akuma, Chris K, Chris Gonzalez. Shout out to Chris over there. It's I would say early morning in the Philippines. The Joe Show, GB Guthrie, who says let's go. Scale Bender, aka Uncle Pete, Jump Tube. Who else is in here? Mr. E, Rusty Taylor, Viking Burial, Michael Poe, shout out to Michael, Padja, Neil McDonald, Rodrook Davis, shout out to Rodrook Davis, still rocking out there in London. Oh, I mean, he's in London, England. I don't know exactly where he's from, but Whiskey Wilder, Chris K, Self-Law, and many more people to come, I'm sure. Fellas, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. So let's get down to it. And by the way, if you don't know how the Discord works, the open Discord, what you do is, all right, so I'm going to show you real quick. So that's the Discord, right? If you go to the left, you see that the part there that says voice channels, right? Do you see it? Pretty sure you see it. Let me just zoom in on it so that you understand. See, I'm going to zone in on it. Hold on a second. This part right here. PDA voice channel. So this is the Discord. You go to the left and you just click on the speaker icon right there, and you should have access to the main BDA room. I'm going to be dropping by there in a couple of minutes. But before I do that, I just want to address a couple of things about tomorrow's fights because, I want to let everybody speak, and sometimes that I have to sacrifice my own time. So I just want to mention a couple of things. We'll keep an eye on the Wayne, and then of course I'll be dropping into the voice channel. Before I do that, let me just hold on a second. Just want to call. I don't know if Buchu's there, but what I'm gonna do at the same time, because I want to hear from Chief and Recognize, and of course Gonzalo and Jimmy. Hold on a second. Where is it? Gonzalo and Recognize, of course. Can't forget our old pal Recognize. So I'm going to create a room, and then we'll be switching over to the main Discord. Once that's done, everyone can jump in. But I'm sort of waiting for the Wayne to take place, which again, it might be delayed, so we might end up actually watching the Wayne at the same time. See, they got some music there. Chris Gonzalez says, my knee's fighting for the belt that was already his. Forget the belts, fellas. Come on. Iron Fist says, Ugas is a good fighter, and people don't mention he's got Ismael Salas training him. He is a very good fighter, man. And at 42 years old, Manny Pacquiao, he could turn old overnight. It's happened before with other fighters. Hand Flow Boxing Review says, no upset. Yordenis has a messed up bicep. Oh, yeah, I saw that. All right, we got Gonzalo and Jimmy dropping by. Jimmy, Gonzalo, how you guys doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, hey, how's it going, BDA?
Doing fantastic.
Yeah, what's up, BDA?
I'm doing good, Jimmy. Thank you for dropping by, fellas. Really appreciate it. Listen, before we open up the Discord and all that, 'cause I just want to try to wait for the Wayne to see what happens, but I think it's delayed again. So I just want to go through a couple of things here with you fellas. The one thing I like about Ugas, I think this has to be mentioned, because we talk about a guy like Ligondao not giving it his all, bamboozling the fans, getting paid TV money for essentially a non-effort. And so there's a lot of negativity to be thrown around for boxers, but I gotta give Ugas credit because this is a guy who started off in a bad way when it comes to his boxing record. He had early losses, 2 in a row at some point, and he was not exactly the most exciting fighter. So when people you see this guy losing, you think, okay, he's a never was. But what did he do? He kept fighting the guys that they put in front of him. Tough guys like Jamal James, who else? Dulorme, right? Ray Robinson, Figueroa, Sean Porter. He almost beat Sean Porter. Abel Ramos. So what I'm trying to illustrate here is, who would have thought that this guy would have gotten a Pacquiao fight? The odds are pretty slim, right? He would have had to have gone through a guy like Thurman or Denny Garcia or even Errol Spence. And I don't think he would have gone through those guys. So if you would have said, well, the logical thing is he's never going to get that fight, that big A-list fight. Well, nobody has a crystal ball. And he kept on winning and winning and winning. And look at him now. He's got this opportunity at the last minute, and he should try to make the most of it. So what I'm trying to say is, you never know what's going to happen in life. So just as a boxer or anything in life, just keep doing your best, and you never know when the opportunity of a lifetime is going to be dropped at your feet. What do you fellas think about that? All these boxers complaining, until I get a big payday, I'm not going to give in my all, blah, blah, blah. No, always do your best in there.
Yeah, he switched trainers with Ismael Salas. He's had 9 fights with them. He went on an 8-fight winning streak, I believe. Then he lost a Porter fight, which I thought he won. Looking pretty good. He's pretty physical. I thought he manhandled Figueroa, and for a guy like Sean Porter that characterizes himself as a strong physical fighter, he dealt with him by being physical also. So that's an advantage that he takes into the ring. The size, if you look at his back, it's pretty wide. Against a guy that's not so big from the torso up, and that's Manny Pacquiao. The difference is Pacquiao has more punching power than the likes of Figueroa and Sean Porter. Yeah, but he kept on trying, and like I said, 9 fights. I thought he won the Porter fight, so he's been winning.
Well, now,
okay,
go ahead, Jimmy. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna finish up, BDA.
No, go ahead. I'm curious to hear what you wanna have to say.
Oh, all right. Well, I also had him. I agree with Gonzalo. I had him winning, beating Porter too in that fight. Listen, he popped onto the scene. Remember, he was fed. They had a kid, Bryant Perella, He was the Italian kid, southpaw, 13-0 at the time, with 13 knockouts, a welterweight. There was all the talk around the PBC heads that he was the heir apparent coming up, right? Because he was devastating people with his power. And he went up against Ugas with the 2 losses. You know what I mean? At the time, I think his pretty much the same. It was like 13-2, and went in there and just fucking beat him pillar to post, like beat him up. That's how he came onto the scene, and people who knew him prior, who saw him prior, said there was a definite, to Gonzalo's point, when he changed trainers. When he came out of, he was one of the most highly touted coming out of Cuba, because he was very smooth, probably the most talented all around of the Cuban fighters. And himself, he admits that he just didn't take it serious. He thought, America, the streets were paved with gold type thing. He thought it was going to happen. He wouldn't have to work that hard. He had a reality slap. I like the thing the kid has said since. I mean, this is going to sound shitty. I'm not buying the pay-per-view, but I'm glad the kid's making the money. You know what I mean? I'm not going to spend $90 or $80 on it. I think they'd be hard pressed not to. They don't want to give it to Ugas, obviously. Obviously, they want Pacquiao to win because they want to make the Spence Pacquiao fight. I mean, Pacquiao. What do you think? If you think Pacquiao Ugas didn't bring in money compared to Spence Pacquiao, what do you think Spence Ugas does compared to Spence Pacquiao? So it wouldn't fall in plans with the PBC for him to win.
Yeah, man, absolutely. On the other hand, if we want to... by the way, shout out to It Was All a Dream for his contribution with the Super Chat. He says, for the free folk of the true North. Aha, shout out to It Was All a Dream for his contribution. Jimmy, if you want to go the conspiracy theory route, wouldn't it be good... Because supposedly they want to keep Pacquiao in the PBC, right? So wouldn't it be good for the PBC if maybe Ugas, they give him that decision if it goes to a close fight, or even if he deserves the win, and that way they keep Pacquiao around for a little bit more?
Well, you mean give it to Pacquiao to win?
No, give Ugas the win.
Because if they give it to Ugas, what? But if they give Ugas the win, why would that incentivize Pacquiao? Maybe I'm just missing the point you're making.
Well, if they keep Pacquiao around, then Pacquiao's gonna say, you know what, I gotta beat Ugas. I can't leave the PBC with a fucking loss. Well, how's that gonna look for marketing for his other fight? So he would probably have to fight Ugas again, and then once he's done with Ugas, maybe take on Spence.
Yeah, see, I mean, he's over. What is he? 42 and a half now. I mean, you're talking about before that third fight, say the rematch with Ugas, that would take until early next year, and then after that, the Spence fight wouldn't be until maybe September. Earliest November of next year when he's going into 44. Well, that would also mean that he didn't run for president, or he's not running for president, which if you read from the senator, and listen, and I think Gonzalo can attest to this, we think as boxing fans, that's cool, he's a boxer, he's running for president. In the political landscape in the Philippines, they don't. They use that against him all the time. Your fucking focus won't be the country. Your focus will be your boxing, your millions, yada, yada, yada. So when he decides if he decides to run for president, and I'm sure Gonzalo can speak on this more than I, if he tries to fuck up, they'll destroy his political career. They're already getting on him enough from what I can read. And maybe Gonzalo can go more into that. What do you say, brother?
Yeah, absolutely. That's true. There's nothing more to add than what you just said, and it's a fact. Him continuing to box hinders his political career, and it interferes. He's got obligations to meet, and now that he took off for this fight, he left he said some comments that the president in office now is wanting for him to come back and settle what he said. But if he continues down this route, it's definitely going to interfere with his job, and I don't think that his passion will continue to be boxing. Although he loves boxing, if he becomes president, the mindset will just change. Because you're president of a country now. I mean, yeah, you love boxing, but everything changes in life. The priorities are different.
Well, that brings
exactly. Yep.
That brings me to the other point then. What are Pacquiao's chances? Because, I mean, let's face the facts. This could be a tricky situation. He was expecting Errol Spence. Now they change Ugas. Now, of course, you think, well, Pacquiao in his prime, he walks through Ugas, but Pacquiao ain't in his prime anymore, and Ugas is a good fighter. He has his flaws, obviously, and like I said, if in his prime he doesn't beat Pacquiao, but with the whole fight being changed at the last minute, Pacquiao perhaps maybe not getting up for this fight, there seems to be a lot of elements to create an explosive and disastrous formula for Pacquiao. What are Ugas' chances here? What do you guys think about it?
Well, I think as good as Spence's.
Huh.
Actually, I personally think as good as Spence, because styles make fights. If you look at Spence's style, Ugas is an excellent counterpuncher. He's got better footwork than Spence. I just don't see him being like Spence. I mean, what I would have said before is, well, Spence has got the power. I think that is shown not to be true. Let's just be honest. He didn't stop the featherweight Garcia. He hasn't stopped anybody since, 4 or 5 years ago. So I just don't see the power differential to be that much more extreme. And I'm curious. But again, if he is to hang around, that means he's not running for president. But if he is going to run for president, this might be his last fight, win, lose, or draw. And I really don't think it bothers him at this point. You know what I mean? He didn't even seem that upset when he lost to Horn. It almost was kind of like whatever. I mean, because he's already got a loss on his record.
He definitely wants to win. I don't know what was wrong, Jimmy, with the Horn fight, but he visibly wasn't. It was the whole Bob Arum thing that he threw him under the bus or whatever. You could see that he didn't get up for that fight, but he definitely wants to win this one because he doesn't want to go out to a loser, especially if he's going to run for president. Whether he continues to box after that or not, I mean, that remains to be seen. But he definitely wants to go out on a winning note because that will affect his popularity. And early, he's a firecracker. He's like a little Tasmanian devil. He's gonna. I don't think that Ugas has got a lot of a chance. Like within the first 5 rounds, he's gonna go in there and he's just try to blast this guy out. And if Ugas doesn't throw a lot of punches, well, then he'll adjust to that because he's not going to, after the 5th round, because he's not going to continue throwing a lot of punches if the other guy's only trying to look for the counter. Because in Manny Pacquiao, he is older. He can start getting tired, and then, you don't know, Ugas could jump on him if Pacquiao empties the gas tank. But early, the adrenaline pumping, the fact that, he doesn't want to allow the bigger, the stronger man to bully him around. He's going to try to make a statement like he did against Thurman. And if Ugas pushes the envelope, Pacquiao's going to push back and trying to say, I'm here. And don't try to, push me farther than I want to be pushed because I'm going to push you back harder. So I think that how that's going to play out. And the difference is the punching power. Ugas is going to feel that, and he's going to get rocked. He's going to get shook. And he's going to get probably pushed back and dropped. So that's what I think is going to happen. And after that, if Ugas can handle the power, then it'll be like a seesaw battle to see, who's going to win the rounds as the fight progresses. But I think Pacquiao's going to try to establish control. And that's going to be by speed and power to counteract Ugas' strength and counter-punching abilities.
Hey, fellas, don't forget to hit the like button, and I've opened up the phone lines if you want to call in, and then later on, I think the Wayne is on right now for the undercard, so as soon as Pacquiao and Ugas weigh in, we'll go over to the main Discord room so everybody can jump in. But Gonzalo, yeah, man, very good point.
Because you know what I mean, right? A counter puncher that's strong, he's going to try to, remain in position and try to hold his body tight and see what the other guy's gonna do. Then when the other guy throws, then he's gonna say, okay, the small guy threw. I mean, speed and power, but he's gonna try to counter the smaller guy and try to tell him, make his point like that, right? While the smaller guy, he's gonna use the speed and power to dart forward and try to shake up the strong guy, by using the speed and power.
That's what I was gonna say. I think, kind of like Keith Thurman tried to do early on against Pacquiao, which is to jump on him, whack him to the body, because Pacquiao is there to be hit to the body. He puts his elbows up and essentially squares up a little bit. But like you said, as soon as Ugas tastes the power, that's when we're going to see what he's made of. Because, listen, this ain't the first time bigger guys have stepped in there with Pacquiao and thought, okay, I'm going to bully this guy. Look at him. He's shorter than me. Now he's older. I'm just going to go in there and hit him. And then as soon as they're exchanging, they get caught. And whoops, all of a sudden becomes a whole other world. And look, That's the other thing I wanted to bring up to you fellas. Ugas hasn't really fought that many big punchers. Dulorme and Abel Ramos were really the big punchers, and Ramos was able to stun him 2 times in the fight. And Ramos, as you know, he's a good fighter, but he's no Pacquiao. So that's what I'm thinking. Do you guys think that if Ugas stays the power, he's going to really give it his all, or is he going to recede into a bit of a shell?
I personally, I just don't think Pacquiao still has that kind of power. What makes his power dangerous is you don't see it coming. You don't expect it. He hits you with punches that you wouldn't expect to have power on them. But, let's be honest. We're talking 11 years ago since the last time he knocked out a legitimate opponent. The dude he took out, Matisse, was already gone. He was a one-eyed Matisse, wasn't hot, wasn't in it. He was there for the money, folded like a lawn chair. He was a shell of Matisse. Other than that, he's gone the distance with everybody. Everybody in 11 years hasn't stopped anybody.
Right, but
so I got to think he's got as strong a jaw as. He's not more chinny than anybody else he's fought. I wouldn't think. He hasn't shown to be chinny. Porter caught him with some shots. Who's to say? I'm not putting his chin up against a triple G chin, but I think just if Pacquiao beats him, it's not going to be by knockout. It'll just be by sheer excellence. Just an all-around better fighter with years of experience.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying Pacquiao stops him. What I'm saying is, my question was, if he hurts Ugas...
Oh, does it change him? Yes, of course. Yeah, everybody, of course. Oh, yeah.
So in other words,
he'll drop him, because although he hasn't stopped anybody, he's dropped damn near everybody.
That's crazy, right?
A guy that he dropped him twice. Who drops Mosley? I think the only time he got knocked out was in his last fight when the Australian guy.
Didn't he drop Bradley a bunch of times too?
Well, he
dropped Bradley, iron chin. Bradley's got an iron chin, right?
Well,
yeah, Vargas.
But Jimmy, my thing is, Gonzalo too. My thing is this: if Ugas stays the power, do you guys obviously it's hard to say, but do you think he'll actually continue trying to make the fight, or is he going to say, you know what, I'm going to go into my shell like most Pacquiao opponents do?
Well, he fought Yusatake there, and he I don't remember him going. Yusatake caught him good shots, but then again, he turned out to be kind of a one-hit wonder. So you're right. Brian Perella supposedly got decent power. That welterweight he took out, but I don't remember Perella. He took him out in the second round. So it wasn't like Perella fucking hung around long enough to hit him. So who's to say? Yeah, you can't. It's a fight. You never know. You catch him on the chin. Yeah.
I think you show love because he's slow. Ugas is slow. And if you look at his punches, he throws them wide. He doesn't throw a lot of straight punches. Maybe that's the reason why his bicep is deformed. Because if you look at him throwing that jab hand, that left hand, which is the one that's deformed, he kind of cocks it back in a weird angle, and when he throws it, it's not necessarily a straight punch. I don't know, or maybe it's just overdeveloped by the way he throws it.
He looks slow.
I think he's kind of slow. So Pacquiao hit hard, and when he gets touched up, he's a guy that likes to read you, then counter. So if you guys cannot read you and counter you because you're that fast, and you're not going to be able to catch the other guy, but because by the time you throw your punch, the guy has already moved with the fast, especially the feet, Pacquiao with the fast footwork, and he's not going to be there to be hit, then he's going to be missing a lot and getting countered back and flourished by Pacquiao. So I think that Ugas will shell up, and that'll make it less entertaining. He does not throw a lot of punches already. So in the early half, yeah, he's going to go for the gusto, but Pacquiao will be faster and will be more dominant, and will probably drop him, and Ugas will come out to fight. But as the fight progresses, Ugas will start shelling up more and more.
So are you saying that... go ahead, Jimmy. Sorry.
I was going to say, and it doesn't bode well for you guys. If the injury really, everything went down that way, and he just found out a week ago that he was changing and fighting you guys, which I just don't buy. Just again, because of the money aspect. They had a figure. Did you know that they slashed the ticket prices almost in half across the board? The $500 one's now at $320. The $550. I saw the whole listing of them. Plus Jim Boone and Steve Kim's latest article, a good one, put out yesterday. It says that he talks a lot with Jim Boone. Yeah, so tickets are down, ticket prices are down. People are calling, of course, to get their money back and pre-bought behavior, and they must have known that. So there's no way Pacquiao got the same money. It's
Right.
just no way. So that's what's so surprising. So you renegotiated his contract. You got Ugas. That all happened in the span of 24 hours seamlessly. That's what makes me seem doubtful. But anyways, let's play it on face value that it did go down that way. That's not good for you guys because that means Pacquiao and anybody who has trained him, and anybody knows him knows he doesn't always put in the same effort in training camps. It all depends on who he's fighting. And he knows, like what Gonzalez said, he was fighting Spence. In his mind, he was fighting probably the best welterweight, one-on-one. This is what, right before running for president, all eyes on him. This, has meaning towards his presidential run. If he could beat the best welterweight in the world, just for national pride. A lot of things went into this fight. That being said, and I think Gonzalez agrees, I think he looks as good in the training videos as I've seen him in years. I don't know, Gonzalez, what do you think? Do you think he looks that good?
He looks good. I haven't been paying close attention the last couple weeks.
What's the matter with you?
Well, hardly, but I just know when I saw him early in camp, I just know that he's looking good. He's getting ready. It's because you never know with this COVID thing, man. You never know with this COVID. You just assume that you wish that the fight's going to go through and it's going to happen. A lot of times it's like, I don't even invest time in watching these guys train because by the time the fight happens, supposed to happen, it doesn't. Yeah, we got the fight tomorrow. Right?
Yeah, that's true, but that's a good point, Gonzalo. And by the way, speaking of how people look, Victor Ortiz and Guerrero just weighed in, and Ortiz looks like a homeless crackhead. The guy looks gaunt. He looks like, all that muscular. He's always been a very strong guy. And I'm really surprised that 10 years later, this guy's still being able to make welterweight limit. But as you can see, it's sort of taking its toll on him. So, and by the way, before we continue, before we open up the panel, I'm going to take a couple of phone calls here. So we got 347 here. Let's see what he has to say before Pacquiao and Ugas weigh in. 347, you're on the air. 347, what's on your mind?
This is MMA champ. It's going to be a great night of fights. Victor Ortiz versus Guerrero. It might be like Baranchik and Cepeda, where both guys get knocked down and stuff like that, and be a little kind of war, because they're both around the same, they're like with their age now, and like they haven't been in the ring for a while, they're around the same level right now, I think. So I think it's going to be a little good fight. Pacquiao's going to destroy Ugas. It's not even going to be close, bro.
Oh.
And a lot of people, it's very sketchy because a lot of people who are at the fights paid for Spence and Pacquiao, but they cannot refund their tickets because I guess like it has a little disclaimer saying like the fighter's main change or whatever. So I guess they can't refund their tickets. So a lot of people who bought it weren't even there to see Ugas fight. Yeah, man. Like I know. Yeah, a lot of people can't refund their tickets. So
that's
but
a shame, right
I think
there, man.
Pacquiao is going to destroy him and retire Ugas, bro. So retire Ugas. Then he's going to run for president, bro. Ugas is slow. He has bad punch technique. He has bad footwork. His punches and his, footwork are not in sync. He slaps with his punches. I mean, listen, bro. And it looks like he has an injury. Like, he looks like he has staph. Like, you see his bicep and everything, bro. So, Pacquiao should get rid of him easy. 6th or 7th round. Stoppage, KO, Pacquiao's the GOAT. Mayweather is a bum. Mayweather is not even top 50 greatest of all time. Mayweather is a bum. He can't fight he can't fight to save his life, bro. Mayweather is a runner. He should be over there with Usain Bolt, bro. He's not a boxer, bro. Mayweather is trash. He's garbage. Get him out of the sport for good. I don't even want to see him fight with Logan Pauls and nothing, bro. Get him out the sport, bro. Pacquiao is the GOAT. And then if he beats, he will beat Ugas. He will be number 1 pound for pound. number one pound for pound if he beats when he beats Ugas to retain his WBA title that was stolen from him.
All right. Listen, point taken. You're being very bold with your prediction, but hey, you're confident in your prediction. So shout out to 347 for calling in, MMA champ, aka Haitian sensation. Fellas, what do you think about that? That whole, I'm trying to find a pic of the bicep here. What is that bicep? Is that just swollen because he sort of tore it a little bit, or is it staph infection? Is he injecting Synthol in it there? What's going on?
I can't see the pad. I get to wait till I get to the house in 2 minutes. I can grab my computer.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to find a picture. I still haven't. But actually, maybe I got one here. Hold on a second. Yeah, because that bicep, Gonzalo. What do you think? I mean, you've seen the photos, right? Anyway, it looks bizarre. Don't forget to hit the like button, fellas. We will be opening up the Discord. We're gonna be opening up the Discord, fellas. Opening up the Discord for everybody as soon as the two fighters weigh in. The main event, of course. So stay tuned for that.
Is that the Russian national anthem?
That's because Butcher used the scene from Rocky IV as the alert donation list. So
I just you heard it. I'm like, Jesus.
That's the commie.
I'll be back in 20 minutes, BDA. Jimmy.
Make it 10.
All right, brother. Be safe.
Well, hold on. Make it 10, Gonzalo, because the weigh-in's about to start. All right.
All right. Yeah.
All right. I want to see you back in 10, soldier. All right. Shout out to Texas Bulldog for his contribution. But the super chat says, tell the caller there is no footage of Floyd asleep. Oh, shout out to Texas Bulldog intimating that Mayweather's never been stopped, unlike Pacquiao, who's been stopped a couple of times. Jimmy, that's why I was trying to get at with the whole Ugas thing, because that's what differentiates the greats from the good guys, right? You see, I'm not saying Caño is Castaño is an all-time great, but the way he fought Charlo, he got stunned in that second round, took a bit of a time off to recuperate, and then he kept pressuring after he got his marbles back. Most fighters would have, just said, oh shit, this guy hits hard, let me be extra careful, and just let the fight slip away. So that's what I'm trying to get at here with Ugas. Does he have that?
Does he have the confidence? Does he have the fight in him? Has he got the dog in him to keep going when hurt?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, right? That's the problem when you have pay-per-view guys on pay-per-view who've never been haven't been tested yet, like to that degree. I mean, Porter, he went 12 rounds with Porter. Porter couldn't hurt him, but then again, I just don't think Porter doesn't hit as hard as a lot of people think he does. You know what I mean? He doesn't hit as hard as you think he would, basically, just by the look of him. But, so, I don't know. Will he get frustrated? Will he get, Manny's movement and jumping around, Manny's a hard guy to lay a glove on. Like, when he did get knocked out, it was because he didn't see it coming, you know what I mean? It was almost like he got lazy, basically, is what he did. And he got caught. But if he's on his game, popping in and out, he's a hard guy to time. Even more hard to, set a trap, because he doesn't, even if you think you're backing him up, he's still dictating what he wants to do. He's the one planning, you know what I mean? He knows all the tricks. None of this is all old hat to him. There's none of the nerves to him. In fact, it's probably anticlimactic now that Spencer's in it. He's like ho-hum, you know what I mean? So, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
a shame, because this was going to be a good fight. I mean, a lot held on this fight. Now it's just take us. And I've heard two things. Well, I know if you went with a reputable ticket agent like Jim Boone, if you bought tickets from him, I'm almost positive he'd refund them for you. That's the type of guy he is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I would think that. I'm surprised that they're not refunding, but I can see they would say, this is last minute changes. It could happen, but not usually in pre-advanced. I don't know. That's just strange. If they're not giving back money, man, wow, that's fucked up.
On top of that, the fight's in Vegas. Right now, traveling is not that easy, depending on which state you're in. Or like, for example, here in Canada, they got the jab passport they're trying to implement. And so, good luck traveling. If
in New York, same thing.
Yeah.
You think there'll be no more fights in Madison Square Garden? You got to be vaccinated to get inside.
That shit ain't gonna work.
Show your papers and your ID from the same party that says it's racist to ask for an ID to vote.
Yeah. You know what I call it?
Hypocrisy's too great.
I call it the yellow star. They're asking you to wear your yellow star. Where did we see that before? All right. So
right.
Keep that in mind.
God. Great reference there, brother.
Hey, by the way, we got a phone call here before the weigh-in. real quick, a phone call before we get to the win here. 773, you're on the air. 773, what's on your mind?
So,
Sep.
I'm looking at Manny Pacquiao's resume.
Oh, right to it.
And a lot of the fanboys in the chat aren't going to like this, but I haven't been too impressed with his resume in the past 6 or 7 years.
Oh.
You got guys like Brandon Rios, Chris Algieri.
Wait a minute.
Jesse Vargas. That's a big name people like to throw around. Then you got Keith Thurman coming off a 2-year layoff. I'm kind of shocked by it. I'm kind of shocked. I looked at his resume like, you gotta go back to like Floyd Mayweather, Antonio Margarito, Shane Mosley to be really impressed by his names. So I'm not too high on this fight. Ugas versus Pacquiao. Just that was Ugas, nothing special. Pacquiao's 42 years old. Hasn't really had a big, meaningful win in a long time. People try to count that Thurman win as some huge, massive win. Thurman's washed, injury prone, long layoff. But let me hear it in the chat. Let me hear it.
Well, listen, some people are calling
about
you.
It.
People are calling you a drunk already, but I think you got a point. Look, Pacquiao is a great fighter, but you're right. Broner, Vargas, those are guys that they're at a full level below him. But you got to give Pacquiao credit for the way he beat him and the fact that he's this old fighter that shouldn't really be in this division in the first place. That's why you give him extra credit for those fights.
Hello, Pac-Man. Pac-Man. I give him credit. He was going to get in there with Spence, and I thought that was huge. I think Spence would have won, but the fact he's going to get in there, someone in their prime like that, on top, that would have been impressive. But this Ugas fight, it's just, I can't get too excited for it. I'm not too familiar with Ugas. I know he's a Cuban fighter, but
Kevin, point taken.
I'll leave you to it.
Kevin, point taken. We're gonna be opening up the stream, the Discord. They open this as soon as the fighters weigh in. Pacquiao and Ugas are on the stage right now, so as soon as they're done weighing in, you can drop by the Discord. What do you mean no? What do you mean no? I'm extending the olive branch over here, and all of a sudden you're getting fresh with me. What's the matter with you? Ah, he hung up. All right, well, see that's Kevin for you there, Jimmy. Some people are. He didn't sound drunk to me. He just sounded tired. What's your verdict on that?
Kevin likes to stir the pot.
Hey, by the way, I don't know if you can see. I'm sharing the screen here, but Ugas is weighing in. He looks ripped as ever. Let me see that bicep. Hold on a second. Well, didn't get a good look at the bicep. Oh, it does look a little bit. Does look a little bit swollen. It does not. Maybe like Gonzalez. It doesn't look swollen anymore, but it does look like he's got one bicep that's more developed than the other. Why is that, Jimmy? Why do some guys have one bicep bigger than the other? Is it because they work it more in the punching bag, or is it bad?
Well, usually it's an injury what would cause that, or birth defect. Usually, you can't never overwork one. You can, but you would. It would be pretty hard to do. It would be pretty hard to do to sit there and just keep working one bicep. I need to see the picture. It could be anything. You need, just from a limb bent back on a child. I've seen that. We heard of that where. In the womb so long, if an arm's bent the wrong way, it doesn't grow right because of oxygen.
Jeez, Luis.
Who knows? But yeah, but I'll I'm trying to get it up. All right, here we go right now.
Monday.com work docs.
So both guys weighed in, and I couldn't hear how.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Yeah, I couldn't hear the weigh-in because I had it on mute, but apparently both guys did make the weight. There were no shenanigans. Now they're gonna face off, and we got ourselves a fight. So. What we're going to do is we're going to go on over to the Discord. So, Jimmy, we're going to leave this Discord room and we're going to go to the main one, the public one, and get everybody in there, talk about this fight. And I want to get down to the nitty-gritty. What are Ugas' chances?
All right.
What are his chances? Can Pacquiao make something happen? What are the chances of the upset? I don't know, Jimmy. I'm getting a feeling here. More than a feeling. And
well, with the upset, you getting the upset feeling?
A little bit now, of course. When you
look at Pacquiao. He doesn't have to be drained.
He looks good, man.
That sucker's not drained. Oh yeah,
he's
not dieting, right? He's, like you said, he's he could make 140 comfortably. If I was to work a little harder, he could 135, but he's not even, doesn't belong. I mean, again, this will always be, this fight is about, it's not about who he's fighting, how good they are. It's about, has he finally grown too old? Because anytime you got a fighter who, in his prime, everybody agrees would beat his opponent, really, what is it about other than that?
Exactly. It's frosting on the cake at this point. The cherry on top of the ice cream sundae. The gravy on the turkey dinner. You want me to keep going there, Jimmy, or is that enough territory?
The gravy on the French fries. You're from Montreal.
Yeah, that good reference. Good reference. All right, so listen, this weigh-in is over. I mean, they're just facing off, and man, Ugas does look big, but again, like I said, Pacquiao, he's handled big guys before. So, all right, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave this.
I'm just really curious about Guerrero. That fight. That's the one's got me on my edge. Let's see.
Yeah.
Guerrero Ortiz. Can you even fucking believe that he would even do that? That goes to show you how little money they have over there. He has to fucking go fight. I mean, I think Guerrero was at a fucking car show. Somebody said, and something they got a call.
Geez.
I mean, no, like literally, because he owns a car shop. I guess he does.
Oh, okay.
Low riders. He builds those things.
Right.
So yeah.
But he looked in shape though. He had the six-pack thing going and everything. So hey, he might have.
But you know what, dude? No matter what, that's gonna be a sloppy fight. These guys have no timing. They haven't been in a fight in so long. It might be like a war. They might bang each other out, but they'll miss as many as they'll win.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But Jimmy, sometimes a sloppy fight is like sloppy pussy. Sometimes you just got to get some. It's at last minute.
Sometimes you just got to get it.
That's right.
All right, let's do that Discord jump.
All right, man. Let me just leave Gonzalo a message here, and I'm gonna send him the invite as well, just so he knows.
He knows where we went, so he doesn't come back and get scared.
Why he's scared? He's gonna get frightened. All right. Well, see you over at the other side, right, man?
Yeah, man.
All right. So listen, fellas, we're gonna go to the main room here. I'm in there right now. So let me send you the invite here. Copy the invite. Hold on a second. What is this? There we go. All right. So I'm in there. And I'm going to put the invite here. So it's, again, fellas, open Discord, join the panel via this link here. It's very easy to use Discord. You don't need to, once you log in or you actually register, you don't need to go to your email or whatever to confirm. Just put on a username, a password, memorize the password, obviously, and boom, you're in. So I'm in there right now. Jump on in. Let's get this party started. Both guys weighed in. Pacquiao looks ripped. Ugas looks ripped as well. They made the weight, and we've got a fight tomorrow. All right. Now, when it comes to some of the predictions for this fight, of course, we're going to be taking predictions. We got somebody named Malik. Malik or Malik?
Malik.
Malik. All right. What's up, man?
What the fuck is that fat lump on Ugas's arm?
I don't know, man. Is that people? Well, I saw the weigh-in right now, and he doesn't have it anymore. So I guess that's gone and over with. Hey, who's the other card? We got Cardo and Main H. Cardo 52, who I've never seen you before.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Whoa, geez, Luis, it sounds like you're in a sardine can. What's going on, man?
Oh, sorry. I'll get into the room. I'm doing something. I'll get over it.
All right. Just so remember, fellas, mute yourselves if you're not going to speak. That way we don't have any background noises as we're going on in this one. Main H, are you there?
Yeah, bro. I'm here. I'm chilling.
All right. So listen, just let's get down to brass tacks here. What are the chances for Ugas to pull off the upset here against the great Manny Pacquiao?
I think it's pretty good, man, to be honest. I rewatched the Pacquiao-Thurman fight like 2 weeks ago, and from what I saw, Manny Pacquiao gassed midway, and I don't think Ugas is injury prone or has a stamina problem, so I think he should be good.
That's so the chances should be good, but let me tell you something. I'm a little worried here because we got one of our own in Viking Trolls in the Discord, and he said he put on a substantial amount of money on Pacquiao winning. So he doesn't want to hear anything about an upset, but you're telling me that you do believe that an upset could be a brewing over here.
Yeah, it's possible, man. I mean, Pacquiao's 42, about to be 43 in December. 2-year layoff. It's not that crazy, in my opinion. I'm surprised people aren't putting big money on Ugas just in case.
Well, that's the thing, though, because look, I remember 3 years ago when Matisse was gonna fight Pacquiao, and let's not mince words here. Matisse in his prime was a lot more dangerous than Ugas is, and I was thinking, man, if Matisse goes in there and gives it his best shot, he could give Pacquiao problems. And what happened? Just couldn't keep up with Pacquiao. So I don't want to over pump Pacquiao over here, but he does seem to be a guy who's on a whole other level compared to all these. And let's face the facts too. Ugas is 35, no spring chicken either, and he's from Cuba, so could be 38 or 40 even. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, I can see this going either way. I can if Ugas does certain things, I could see him giving Pacquiao trouble. He's 5'9", and he did make Porter struggle a little bit in order to jump in. But other than that, man, I don't. Well, you know what? We got to recognize the Matrix. Recognize, are you there?
Hello.
Recognize. Thank you for being on, man. Listen, I'm asking people here, what are the chances, or what chances would you give Ugas of pulling off the upset?
20% chance.
Oh, that's very limited, man.
20 to 30%, depending. All right, 20 on the lower end. How good Pacquiao starts off the fight, and it goes a little higher if it's competitive. Remember, Pacquiao's old, so if Ugas could stay relatively, how can I say this? He can save enough endurance for the second half of the fight. He can compete with the older man. You know, that's all you want to do, especially when he's Manny Pacquiao. Kind of want to test his tank a little bit.
That's what, Gonzalo made that point. He said, that Ugas has to go in there and try to shock Pacquiao a little bit. But then the question also becomes, we've seen that, the issue becomes that we've seen guys try to do that against Pacquiao before, right? Jesse Vargas tried to box him, Thurman tried to jump on him, and they all taste the power, and they have to make a choice. Either we keep on pressing and taste that power again, or we fight more cautiously. And I think that's also the big question is, does Ugas have that inside of him, that heart, that dog, as they like to say, of trying to drag Pacquiao into a slugfest? What do you think the chances are there for Ugas? Does he seem like that type of fighter to you?
Recently, nah. Once he got elevated, he was on Instagram just chilling, to be honest. He's just hanging out, living life. He seemed pretty comfortable, to be honest.
Yeah, because I've heard some people say, well, Ugas isn't that good, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, yeah, but he does do something. He has a lot of flaws, don't get me wrong, but he also does a lot of things that are good and that could potentially upset a 42-year-old fighter. Now, here's the other thing, though. Let's say Ugas makes it close and he gets the win, right? Are people going to use the excuse that, well, it's because they changed Pacquiao's opponent at the last minute? Or are they going to give him credit? Because let's remember, supposedly Errol Spence pulled out because Pacquiao was looking that good. So are we going to give Ugas credit even if it's a close fight?
Yeah. If he goes in there, gives a good effort, put himself in position to actually win the fight, unless you're a weirdo, you got to give him credit. You just got, that's the way, how can I say this? When somebody does something a little bit unexpected, regardless of the situation, if you thought that Pacquiao was going to beat Ugas and Ugas actually wins the fight, he outboxes him, you got to give him credit, right? You got to say Ugas is a little bit better than I thought, and you can't help but to say, well, Pacquiao's 42, because he is. You know what I'm saying? He's 42 years old. Regardless of how great he is, he's still a human being. And so you can push an old man, depending on the younger fighter and who you are. Sometimes you could be just as good as an older guy or a guy who's same age as you, but you do a little something that maybe he's a little unaware of, and that's enough for you to win the fight. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. And listen, I said this before they changed opponents when it came to Earl Spence about how much credit would we give to Spence, and I said, look, we'll give him as much credit as we can give him for beating a 42-year-old fighter. Like you said, you can try to paint it any way you want. It's a 42-year-old guy. He's never gonna be a 42-year-old guy. A fighter is never gonna be as good a boxer as he was when he was 32, 26 years old. So yeah, it's the same thing with Ugas, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, because people were mentioning that, man, Spence was so scared of Pacquiao, he pulled out of the fight. Well, then you gotta give Ugas some form of credit for getting in there with that monster and beating him. I see we got Pete and Stray G Turo jumping in. Fellas, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Good to have you on board.
Yeah.
Hey, Pete, I wanted to ask you, man, because there's been a lot of people saying that once the opponent was changed, that the price should have changed as well for the pay-per-view, and they didn't. It's still about $75 per ruse. Are you going to be shelling out that type of moolah for the fight, or are you going to be skipping it? Or
it's the Pac-Man. Gotta give it up.
That's a good answer as any I've heard. Yeah, I mean,
that's their thinking. God damn it, they can replace them with anybody. It's going to sell the same amount of pay-per-views. Be real.
Right.
What's $75 for a king?
Oh, yeah.
Recognize going to spot me.
Yeah, he's going to give you those fake.
I got you, Pete. I'll send it into your Cash App, buddy.
Nah, he's going to send you. He's going to send you those George Floyd fakes, man. Those counterfeits. Don't trust the Recognize, man.
Yeah, he always wants to give me a DVD like 2 weeks later. I'm not interested in that. I want to see it live.
It's good quality, bro. Good quality. Don't
cash
knock
only,
it.
man. Cash only.
Yeah, last time he dropped his chip with his hummus on it, and he fucking dropped the camera and put the camera down. I missed the whole fight. So.
Jeez, Louise.
Oh, damn.
Yo, Recognize. Remember one time after the what fight was that? It was Gene Pascal and this. I can't remember his name. Brown. Yeah.
Brown.
Yeah. When Gene Pascal caught this kid Brown, I called Recognize afterwards. He goes, "Bro, I dropped my chip. I dropped my chip with my guacamole on it on the ground."
Yeah, I was fucked up, man. I was devastated.
Hey, we got
he was like Fredo in Godfather when he shot Vito. When Fredo was supposed to be protecting him, he was sitting on the curb with the revolver.
Hey, we got somebody new here. Thank God. Thank God. Are you there?
Thank God.
Can you hear me, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, you can hear me.
Oh,
right?
Nice to hear you. Can you talk louder?
This is gonna be hilarious.
I know.
All right, he muted himself.
Hey, thank God. Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you for stopping by. Pugula Camp says, so he beat what was left of Manny Pacquiao. James Deere says, Ugas is an unknown, which makes him similar to Jeff Horn. Just saying, lightning could strike twice. Yeah, that's a good point right there. That's what I'm trying to get at as well. Chris Gonzalez says, even an old man Pac is too much for Ugas. 1 foot out the door says, okay, he's talking shit to somebody. All right, so listen, I'm going by here some of the expert predictions on ESPN, and interesting thing here, Margarito says, when I fought Pacquiao during middleweight, he was the one who hit me the hardest in my career. That's saying
Obviously.
something.
The fucking eye was caved in after the fight, obviously. Hey, what's the anybody know the line? What's the money line? How about some action? Let's get some action. What are the bookies trying to tell me?
Fucking degenerate gambler over here. Okay, first of all, yeah, let's get the degenerate gambling out of the way. The lines, let me check them, man. Does anybody know?
Plus 300 for Ugas. What is Ugas
check.
right now?
Let me check, man. I actually.
Should we call my bookie? Should we call my bookie on a three-way?
No,
call Kuhn on a three-way.
Yeah,
we'll see what he says. You won't even know. I guarantee it.
It's Flacco. Well, listen. Viking Troll said that his friend bet $3,600 on Manny. Oh, him and his friend bet $3,600 each. Okay, but he's not talking about the odds. Okay, so
APDA.
Well, hold on, main H. Chris Gonzalez in the chat. Shout out to Chris Gonzalez. Says Pac is minus 280, and Ugas is plus 280. No, sorry, he says Pac is minus 380, Ugas plus 280. All right, so it's like about 3 to 1 odds, pretty much. Go ahead, main H. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna give the Bovada betting lines. On minus 330 minus 330, and then plus 230 for Ugas.
Oh.
What's they have props on what's this guy's name? I'm sorry. Is it, oh my God?
Mayonnaise.
What?
Mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise. Hey, mayonnaise. What's the, do they have the props on there? What's the draw? Give me the draw. Plus what?
The draw's always like plus 1,000. The draw's always plus 1,000.
What do you mean it's always? What's the fucking draw for this fight? Not always. I don't. What?
Hey, Pete, don't give the kid an attitude, man. What's the matter with you? He's trying to help you
No,
out.
I'm just saying. He's got Bovada up. He's got the website up. Just what's the prop for the draw on this fight? It's not always 1,000. It's always.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that depending on how the odds are you? Let's say they're 3-1, which is what I'm trying to get at, or what I understood here. Are you going to be placing a bet on Ugas?
BDA, let me ask you. Who you think Pacquiao's going to win?
It's actually plus 1,400. It's actually plus 1,400.
Plus 1,400. Okay, so what did you say, Pete?
You think Pacquiao's going to win, right?
Yeah.
What if I give you 20-1 odds on Ugas? Would you put some cash on it?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it depends on on what the line is, bro.
But
I'm not saying I'm going to. I got to ask what the line is, right?
But 3-1 though, 3-1 odds. What do you think? That those good enough for you?
No.
Okay, hello guys. Since I'm like the better in here, I would say if it's 4-1, if it's 3-1, I would put money on you guys because I honestly think you guys is like the more underrated fighter in boxing. He has like very, very advanced counter skills that are like up there with even, I would say, like a tad bit under Canelo, because Canelo is like the best counter puncher of this era, and I think you guys is like a bit under that. But I want to say also, you guys has like very, very underrated footwork, and I don't know if Pacquiao could cut off the ring because Pacquiao could not cut off the ring versus Mayweather. So I mean that's just my take.
Yeah, but I mean Ugas ain't no fucking Mayweather. Yeah, Ugas.
Deleted. Let me just say this. Was his last fight this guy Ramos? Was Ugas' last fight Ramos? Yes, correct.
I think it was Mike Dallas or was it Ramos? Hold on, let me check. I got it right here. Ugas' last fight was against Abel Ramos. Yes.
All right. So, of course, at my desk today when I should have been working, I went on there and I watched about 4 rounds of that fight.
This fucking Pete's on YouTube instead of working. All right, go ahead.
Muted, of course. Okay. No sound. Yeah. Thank you. But I had respect for my coworkers. But the thing about it is, he looks like shit. This guy. He doesn't. I mean, I'm sure you broke it down, PD. I'll be listening more than talking. But I didn't see his head move off the center line. I just seen him, and I seen his feet wide. I didn't see all this crazy footwork.
Yeah, that's what I see too, Pete. I don't
very
see
well,
that.
right?
Kind of slow on the feet, kind of planted.
No offense, deleted 08.
Doesn't really move his head off the line. He thinks too much. The only thing he does is he'll counter punch you, but you can beat that style.
Jeff Horn is a guy that like has sloppy footwork, you know.
Yeah, but he's
I
actually
feel like
faster.
Jeff Horn,
He's actually got faster feet.
Jeff Horn beat Pacquiao, in my opinion, pretty convincingly. So I don't know.
I think you would be the minority on that one. Yeah, you would be in a very low minority on that one, but that's fine. But Jeff
Say that again. Again with the fucking minority.
No, I was going to make a point. Jeff Horn has faster feet.
Yes, that's true.
Than Ugas.
I do agree with that. But again, that Jeff Horn fight, that was a street fight. The ref, because those over there in Australia, they got criminal genes inside of them, so they just let it turn into a street fight. Ugas, he doesn't close. Ugas.
There was a prison colony. I mean, that's what it was originally.
Exactly.
And Jeff Horn almost died. People forget that Jeff Horn actually almost died in his victory, where he spent his victory weekend in the hospital for a week. So,
but here's my thing, though. Here's my question, because Ugas fought has shown different styles. When he fought Porter, he was trying to time him coming in, and he did a pretty good job. And then when he fought Figueroa, he stuck to Figueroa and smothered him and didn't let Figueroa work with those long orangutan arms of his. Now, the thing is, though, he also clinched a lot against Figueroa. In fact, I think it's as early as the second round, they took a point off of him. So my question is, he's getting hurt against Abel Ramos when he decided to exchange. He's smothering and clinching too much against Figueroa. If he starts finding out that Pacquiao's hand speed is too much for him, his power too much, is that going to compel him to just try to make it a distance. That's what I've been asking since the beginning of the show. What do you guys think?
Well, I'll say, my bad, but I'll say this. So when Mayweather fought Pacquiao, in my opinion, again, I thought Mayweather scored Pacquiao, but Mayweather clinched a lot, which is like a form of sweet science, and I think Ugas has that in him to do it to Pacquiao too. So if he can move and clinch and do sweet science, I think he wins.
Just to clarify,
let's mark the original thing that's not sweet science, and anyone thinks it is hasn't studied the sweet science. It's a foul. It's rule number 3 in the Marcus Queensberry rules, not to hold or particularly grab behind the head, which Floyd deliberately did over and over again and was never penalized. So to call it sweet science is just it's modern day acceptance of exploiting of rules that people don't enforce.
That's right.
That's real truth.
It's racist.
Well, it's as I said, my opinion, man. So yeah, but thank you.
Yeah, your opinion. I'm backing my words with fact. So with all due respect,
you can't say it's your opinion when it's against the rules. It's not boxing. That's not boxing. It's not sweet science. But anyway, go ahead, Chief. You were gonna say?
I have an opinion. Okay.
So the question is Ugas going to resort to that? And with Mayweather getting away with it, with with Jeff Horn showing that that's an effective style against a shorter opponent like him, and he's been known to do that, then yes, I can see that actually becoming a possible strategy if he gets hurt early or if he realizes he can't control the timing.
Yeah, that's a good point right
Boxing
there.
Chief, you're saying if he starts getting peppered, he's gonna clinch, or he's not gonna make a fight like.
He'll either pull a Jeff Horn and he'll clinch, or I forget the other guy's name, the Claudy, and cover up. He may be able to outfight and outmaneuver, but I'm one of the few people on this panel that's never been overly impressed with Ugas. An ill-prepared Sean Porter is his best performance.
Yeah, I'm watching it now, and he's not like. Listen, this guy's not going to pull a Jeff Horn. He's not going to come forward and make.
He'll try to open up at some point. He's going to be keen to try to read Manny and see the rhythm of his boxing when he is going to take breaks against him. So him understanding when Manny pulls the trigger and throws punches and bunches, but all of a sudden within those 3 minutes he takes one step back or stops throwing. That's when Yordenis Ugas is gonna counter. So he's got to be pretty much like a praying mantis, ready to for his moment. Ready for his moment because he's gonna shell up, and he's a counter puncher. So he's gotta. It's a very hard task because he's gotta wait for the moment. Then he's still gotta time Pacquiao and try to find him at the end of his punches.
And counter punchers oftentimes when they wait their turn, wait 12 rounds.
Hey, let me say something to this.
They eat praying mantises over there in the Philippines regularly, so that's regularly on the diet. So I don't think it's going to work against us.
Sorry, the thank God or whatever. Thank God you gotta mute your mic because we hear your picnic in the background there, man. Please, if you're not gonna speak, try to.
I agree with that kid, to be honest with you.
Hey, someone compared Ugas to Canelo earlier, right? And
that was you.
Oh no, that wasn't me. That was
okay. Sorry. Okay, yeah.
But what do you call it? Yes, I was saying he is flat-footed, right? I totally agree with that, right? Because Ugas, he was doing this before Canelo, right? From what I know, right? So what Ugas does is he slips the punch, he counters, but as he slips, he steps in to that's why someone else was saying that he has wide feet. That's the reason why, because he steps in harder for his body shots.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good point because look, Ugas, he's quick on the trigger. Now sometimes he can be a little wide, but at 42 years old, if he can keep Pacquiao jumping in, that's going to take. In other words, Pacquiao's going to have to work harder to get to Ugas if Ugas decides to go on the defensive, and that could tire a 42-year-old fighter. Look, even Sean Porter had trouble closing in on Ugas, so it's going to be an interesting one, man. I think Pacquiao could look bad and even lose this fight. It's a tough fight. This is why these guys.
The likelihood that he could lose it is there, but the likelihood that he will look bad is not very. It's not shouldn't be low odds. You have to ask
yourself. You have to ask yourself, why did Sean Porter fight like that versus you guys? He must have been a bit cautious and scared of you guys' power. You have to say,
ill prepared. He had trouble making it. He had to shave his head to make weight for that fight. He was not prepared. And he didn't go in against Ugas like he's going in against. You can't tell me Ugas in your fear of his power, you're going to go straight in on Errol Spence. He was ill prepared and he took the guy for granted.
He's an orthodox.
I guess.
He comes
That's
straight
a good
in. He
assumption.
smothers himself. I mean, Porter. You can't put Porter and Pacquiao in any kind of game plan. The thing is, I see with Ugas, I'm watching the Porter fight right now. Jack Reese better get out of the way. Get out of the way, Jack Reese. Thank you. The thing is, I see this guy like basically a broner, man. I see this guy like a broner. Very, very low output. Trying to catch him with a counter right hand. Pacquiao's not gonna be standing straight in front of him like Porter was. That's for damn sure.
Hey, Gonzalo, on ESPN, they're asking on ESPN. They were asking the experts what they thought, and Marcus said something interesting. He says how Ugas has to win. He has to fight Pacquiao at his speed, the way I did. I fought him at his pace, and he says, and that should be Ugas' strategy to have a chance to connect with his punches. But in order to do that, he has to risk something. Like if
groundbreaking advice right there.
I mean,
make Pacquiao fight at your pace.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's like Gonzalo, can Ugas even try to approximate that, or is there a chance for him to do that when Pacquiao's 42 years old?
Well, with him being the I'm not gonna say more physical, which he probably is the more physical because he's got a wider back, he's bigger, he's strong. We saw what he did with Figueroa. He bullied him, and Figueroa usually was a guy that bullies other guys at lightweight. And Sean Porter, he's a roughhouse type of like in your face, also like a bully type of fighter. And Porter decided not to fight that type of fight. He decided to box from the outside, and Ugas dealt with him pretty well along those lines. So the way that he could fight him at his pace is using physicality. If not punching power, and if not punches and bunches, because he's low output, is by being a sharp counter puncher and using your physicality, whether that's by tying up or just using your shoulders to bump him off when he gets in close and countering, like with the big uppercut, whatnot. Depends on what his favorite punch is. We'll see, or what punch works for him. Yeah, but he's just got to be physical. Use the size to counter Pacquiao's punching power. How he does that specifically, I don't know. But that he's a professional boxer. He's got to find a way to utilize that.
Well, you know what, Gonzalo, to your point, Chief, just real quick, to Gonzalo's point, get these hands, don't even the super chat, shout out to get these hands. And he says, Horn used his size and strength to bully Manny, and if Ugas has a chance, that's what he needs to do against the old man and that inactive man. Shout out to get these hands for his contribution. Yeah, Chief, what do you think about that? Like, can he make it into a rough and tumble type of affair?
He's big enough to do it. He's tall enough. He's got a wide enough back, so Gonzalo's got some points. But the key fact that he mentioned in that, when he mentioned Figueroa, is lightweight. Neither of these two guys have been anywhere near lightweight in almost a decade. So
yeah, it's a long time ago.
Figueroa was a blown-up lightweight that quit taking his conditioning seriously, and that's why he was a chubby welterweight and was able to be pushed around by Ugas. He never was a real welterweight, didn't really condition himself to be one, and got out-muscled by... I just don't see Ugas as a superior fighter. He's had one great performance. He's had decent performance, but one good performance. And again, it was because Sean Porter made that fight that way, not because Ugas did. Sean Porter chose to move around the ring. He chose not to charge him right away. When he did turn it on late and start to come forward, even though I still thought he was way behind and I still thought he lost the fight, he was effective. Yeah.
All right, so let me ask one more week, because he just jumped on and he hasn't still talked. One more week. One thing we're trying to figure out here is, does Ugas try to fight Pacquiao and smother him the way he did with Figueroa, or does he try to time him in like he did against Sean Porter?
He's going to try to bully Pacquiao like he did with Figueroa, but then I think he's going to realize Pacquiao is very fast, so I'm not sure how that's going to turn out. But I also see Ugas being able to hit. I mean, look, Manny Pacquiao in his fight with Keith Thurman, he got hit a lot. I was worried for him. I kind of didn't like the way he was getting his head snapped back and everything. But I think if Thurman was catching Manny Pacquiao, I mean, Ugas would be doing the same thing, and I think Ugas is just as strong. So Pacquiao got to watch out. He has to get out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, Ugas, I don't know how good his chin is. Something tells me it ain't all that good. But hey, this could be the night where he steps it up and all the stars align for him. Jimmy, let me ask you this, Jimmy. I don't think we got the answer, but are you going to be buying the pay-per-view, or you said you're going to skip it, or?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be buying this one. I'm just not going to give the PBC. Well, I was definitely by the Spence. I personally don't see them. You also would have to beat him soundly to get the win. I think they want Heyman wants obviously Pacquiao to win because that would give him the incentive to come back. I still say if he loses and goes for the presidency, it's he's not going to come back for that second fight. So I would think the only incentive is to let him win. So would they? I mean, it's not like the PBC hasn't shown to put their thumb on the scale on the people they want to win. You know what I mean? So
right.
What's up, Jimmy? By the way.
But yeah, no, honestly, no, I don't think I'm going to be buying this one. I'm not giving them all my fucking money because again, at the end of the day, this is just a fucking. It's a cash grab. Manny's only hanging around for mercenary reasons. He doesn't give a fuck. His legacy's cemented regardless of this fight. Let's be honest. Doesn't affect his legacy one iota.
Yeah, okay. That's if
no, that's not true. If he would have beat Spence, that would have cemented him probably as one of the all-time greats. But against Ugas, I don't know. I don't think it affects his legacy either way.
Jimmy, provided the fact that this isn't this conspiracy we've got about this fight was going to fall out this way a long time ago, and they had it this way because of the eye, and they already knew, and everything else we've kind of spewed out for the past week or so. He went in thinking he was fighting Spence, so it was for legacy, and he was going to get paid in the process. It wasn't, even though it's already set, he was just going to enhance it more. He got dealt Ugas off of a bum deal if everything really happened legit the way we don't necessarily believe it did. I'm under the impression Manny wasn't presented the light any more than we were. They didn't tell him, okay, we're going to do this with Spence, but we're going to advertise with Spence, but you're really going to fight Ugas, and this is the only way we can sell it. I don't think they did that. One, I don't think Manny would go with that. I don't think he'd participate in that. And then two, I don't think if that was their plan, that they told him that.
Yeah, that also... Was that Gonzalo?
I heard he was mad. Really, he didn't like it. The whole Ugas change.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was probably, that like we said, that probably the money got either decreased or stayed the same, or I don't know. But I mean, I heard that he didn't seem all that happy when they interviewed him for the first time after the announcement. He seemed to be a little bit frustrated. And that could, look, he's a consummate professional. And Jimmy made a good point earlier. He said, this is about what, the 20th big event for Pacquiao? I mean, this guy's been through it. Because you got to keep in mind, these fighters, they train, right? But then they got all these press commitments that they gotta uphold, right? They gotta do the media, they gotta do the interviews with people over the satellite TV and all that. He's been through all that.
Basically fucking trains in public, man. I'm shocked how open his whole camp is. Really, I mean, it's like he walks out the front door of the wild card. There's a goddamn crowd every day. He's handing out money. That's crazy, right? I mean, I'm just saying, like.
Yeah, it's very crazy.
Everybody's got access. The whole goddamn town.
I was gonna say. Yeah, I was gonna say too. About Pacquiao not looking happy. I wouldn't be happy either if I had to fight you guys. Cause I mean, he's pretty good in my opinion. He's a good counterpuncher.
Well, listen.
The key to Manny Pacquiao is gonna be the speed and changing the angles. I 100% believe that. Changing the angles, constantly moving on Yordenis Ugas.
Yeah, man.
The money's not going to be any different, right? It's pay-per-view upside for Pacquiao. He's going to sell the same amount of pay-per-views. I mean, even Jimmy's cold-blooded ass not going to buy it.
Hey, I honestly think Pacquiao doesn't do good against slick black fighters. Like we've seen it time and time again, like Timothy Bradley, Floyd Mayweather. Like I think Ugas is basically gonna like school him. To be honest.
You're insinuating that Timothy Bradley actually schooled him? Can you go back and watch?
He didn't school him, but like
he didn't win.
He outclassed him in a couple rounds. He basically outclassed him for half the fight.
Bradley was undefeated. Tim Bradley lost that fight and that was a fix.
Well, it
Yeah,
was
that
a
was a
close fight.
robbery.
Like Tim Bradley lost it, but it was a close fight. But
It was a close. It
No,
was
that-
okay. Let's put it in perspective. It was a competitive fight, but Pacquiao clearly won the second and third one. Now, in regards to that, look, listen. This whole thing about Pacquiao doesn't do well with slick black fighters. I mean, he beat Broner and he beat Bradley, so that right there goes out the window. Now we're saying, well, hold on. Now we're saying, well, Ugas. Those guys won rounds against Pacquiao. Nobody's denying that anybody can win rounds against Pacquiao.
I think even the Broner fight, I had it wrong.
Hold on, please. Excuse me, I'm talking. So
you need to have to fight.
What I'm saying is, what are the chances that Ugas can outbox him clearly enough? Because look, even Mayweather, who's a much better fighter than Ugas, had to resort to doing the bare minimum in order to avoid conflict in there, and he did a lot of clinching as well. So, are we saying that Ugas is going to put on as good, if not a better performance than Mayweather?
He may not have to age.
That I think his performance will be different. Like that, I think he's gonna pressure. Like he's really gonna break down Pacquiao.
Yo, Pacquiao's defense, bro. His defense lately, he's been getting hit too much, bro.
Yeah, and he's gonna hit Pacquiao with them body shots, and he's not gonna like those body shots, man. I'm telling you.
All right, now let's.
Can I ask a question? Did somebody just say they had Broner beating Pacquiao? Or did I
Yeah, I said it. I didn't have Broner beating Pacquiao, but I had it a draw. I had it like extremely close.
Hey, you guys notice do you guys notice that Bichot, this guy who's talking, Bichot as Monster, has the same cadence as Chichimek, and they both have the same. They're both trying to shit each other. Yeah, both the same, and they both sound high too. Yeah, no, but listen.
Yeah, I think one thing. I think verbiage, words get thrown around too loosely nowadays by these internet boxing fans. When they say, "Oh, he's not gonna do good against a black slick fighter," you're thinking that usually because that verbiage is being used against a Mexican who's got the slow footwork, usually that plods, that comes forward. Pacquiao's nothing like that. His feet are constantly moving. How can you use that same verbiage against a guy like Pacquiao that has fast feet and is always moving and throws punches and bunches, like if you were referring to a stereotypical Mexican fighter?
Well, I'm just saying he kind of got messed up by Broner, and he got fucked up by Floyd. And
Nobody got messed up by Broner, and Floyd didn't fuck up anybody. He may have outboxed
Floyd outclassed him, man. Like Floyd just outclassed him.
Yeah, well, you've already proven you can't judge a fight, so.
But hold on, everybody, guys, hold on, please, hold on. Hey, one at a time.
Yeah,
so let's say, because I agree. Look, at 42 years old, Pacquiao, he's not the same fighter he was once. But are we saying that because those guys, because Mayweather, forget Bradley and Broner, those guys didn't fuck anybody up when it comes to Pacquiao. But are we saying then that Ugas is gonna do as good as Mayweather, if not better? Is that what you're saying there?
Well, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like Ugas plans down on his feet more, and also Pacquiao has gotten older. How old is he? Like
42.
He's like 45.
Hey, hold on. Let me just do something.
You don't know how to count either,
Chief. Please, hold on. Can I just say? I want to do a
don't
bit of
sleep
a.
on Ugas. Don't sleep on Ugas, though.
Yeah, don't sleep on Ugas, fellas. I don't. Yeah, but Chief, here's what I'm trying to get. You seem to think that it's impossible for Ugas to win this far. Maybe I'm getting it wrong.
Ugas wins is because Father Time intervened, not because Ugas was a better fighter. That's just all there is.
Ugas is actually a pretty good fighter. I ain't gonna cap. But like this,
yeah, he is.
But look.
I'm taking the Father Time into account. I'm taking the age factor into account. Like it probably, if Pacquiao was young, like there'd be no question, obviously. So I'm only saying that because he's old.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on a second. Are we saying? Do any of you think that a prime Pacquiao loses to Ugas?
No, actually, nah.
No, but I think no. But I think it'll be like a good fight though, like a prime Ugas and prime Pacquiao. It'll be competitive in my opinion because, I mean, you have to remember Ugas is pretty big himself and he has a lot of power. That's why Porter didn't engage with Ugas. How come Porter engaged with Spence and Thurman, but he didn't with Ugas? Ugas
Because
definitely has power, man.
Nasty ass power. He's got 40% knockout ratio. He's got. I
don't
what?
even know what a good
Hey,
prime Ugas looks like.
Hey, yeah, that's an interesting. That's an interesting point because he said that that's an interesting point because Porter fought Ugas and he was waiting for that big Spence fight. So I think it could have been also a question of him trying to be cautious so as not to screw that up. Because when he fought Porter, he jumped all over Porter. And I think we can all agree that Porter's a better fighter than Ugas.
Hey, didn't Marquez stop Pacquiao? Didn't Marquez stop Pacquiao? So you're saying Ugas bigger, a natural welterweight, he can't do that?
But did you understand what I said about the Ugas Porter thing? I mean, Porter fought completely different, and Porter's
I understand, man. I understand.
Hey, by the way, can I get? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chief. I didn't hear you. Go ahead.
If Ugas can find a way to land a punch that Pacquiao doesn't see, like anybody in boxing can do when you land that kind of a punch, then yes, you can sleep him. Is the likelihoods of that happening? Very slim. And why did Pacquiao get caught by Marquez? It wasn't because he went in blind and didn't see the punch coming. He went in reckless. I don't see him doing that in this case, unless he's really got Ugas on Queer Street and Ugas lands a Sunday punch that you're actually thinking is part of his repertoire. Someone said on board the panel that they think that the power is pretty much the same or similar between Thurman and Ugas. Again, 12 knockouts out of 26 wins, 40% knockout ratio. That's not the same. I don't care what you're watching or who you're comparing it against, especially since Ugas hasn't fought the best competition.
I agree. Boxing Chief, to your point, look, like Ugas is a good counterpuncher. He can counter, but he's not a sharpshooter. Like he doesn't really transfer his power when he does counterpunch. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's the problem with Ugas.
I think Ugas, he's gotten better, and he knows how to, and he just hits harder now.
But hold on a second, because you're saying
I think he is as hard as Thurman, if not more.
All right, but let me get in here and say this, because
it's harder than who?
We're using Marquez as a barometer. We're using Marquez. We're using Marquez as a barometer for saying, well, Ugas can catch him. But like Chief said, Pacquiao smelled blood in there against Marquez. He had him bleeding from the nose. He seemed to be on the verge of doing some serious damage, and he walked into the right hand. Now, credit to Marquez, because he'd caught him with that same right hand a couple of rounds earlier. So credit to Marquez. But that being said, we're talking about Ugas. Well, he's improved a lot. Yeah, but when Marquez had legitimate power, even before he started training with Memo Heredia, he stopped Joel Quesamayor, who at that point nobody had ever stopped him. Everyone always those who beat him always beat him close decisions. And he also broke apart Juan Diaz, something Nate Campbell couldn't do. So Marquez was a guy that was finishing guys that nobody else was finishing before. That's number one. Number two, I agree that Ugas can hurt Pacquiao. He can catch him with that right hand. It's a solid right hand. Jesse Vargas was doing it, so there's a precedent there. But is it enough? Is he going to be able to land it consistently? And here's the other question I asked before. Ugas, does he have that heart to keep fighting Pacquiao? Because we see what happens with guys like Jesse Vargas, Adrian Broner. They get caught. Mayweather, too, he got caught in the fourth round. He got staggered, and he said, fuck this. I don't want to engage with this.
Just overwhelmed. Yeah, they're just overwhelmed.
Yeah, they get over.
Yeah.
And Abel Ramos stunned.
Well,
Ugas. Abel Ramos stunned Ugas in there. So let's not say, Pacquiao has a chance to stop him, too.
They also fought four times, bro. They fought 4 times, bro. They already knew each other's styles. And it took Marquez 4 fights to finally land that fucking right hand.
Yep.
Well, you guys are saying that Ugas doesn't hit that hard, but Pacquiao has only had 1 knockout in 12 years. Like Ugas had more knockouts, like
Manny
this amount of time. So I think Ugas hits harder. Well, I'm just saying Pacquiao, like he's not hitting that hard.
He probably
right
could
now.
at this stage.
1 knockout in like 12 years, dude.
Hey, but hold on. Okay, let's go to that. Let's compare the power. This is Ugas's record. The last time he stopped somebody was Jonathan Batista, who was 18-13. And before that, Ray Robinson was the only really, if you could call quality guy, he dropped. So, I mean, look, Pacquiao's fighting guys like Broner, Jesse Vargas, Thurman. Of course, he's going to be knocking him out. But let me ask you this, fellas. For those of you that are saying that Pacquiao's power is overrated, he's dropping guys. He's dropping younger, stronger guys like Broner and Porters. I mean, and Thurman. So come on, let's not just go.
He's dropping them because he's.
He never dropped Porter. I mean, he never dropped Broner.
No, but he heard him.
Okay, he heard him. Look, Pacquiao's got heavy hands and he's got speed, so he's sudden. When he touches you, you don't see it coming, and his hands are heavy. Did you hear what Thurman said? that he's one of the hardest punches he has ever gotten hit by. It felt like rocks. And man, the guy hits hard. And the guy, when he touches you, it hurts. But the reason that he's not knocking these guys out, because he keeps it boxing. Because he's not going to overly commit to being a one-trick pony and committing to his power when he's fighting welterweights. He's a lightweight.
Well, yeah, you know what?
He just keeps it boxing where he's going to pretty patch you to death with power punches because his hands are heavy, and he's not going to get greedy with that. He's just going to be content with boxing your head off and knowing that every time he touches you, he's hurting you. And by the time you adjust your eyes because you're getting your bell rung and you're getting discombobulated, you're not fighting Pacquiao because he's constantly moving on you. But then he's not going to get greedy. He's just going to keep boxing you with power.
And to Gonzalo's point, hold on, please. To Gonzalo's point, that's the same point you two fellas who sounded like were making, which is that when Porter fought Ugas, your contention is that Ugas' power made him fight that way. It's the same thing with everybody that fights Pacquiao. They taste his power and they go, screw this, I'm just going to go on the defensive and see what I can do.
Well, Pacquiao they hurt Keith Thurman. He did hurt him. But you also need to understand, like, Keith Thurman, like, he's past his prime. And he hurt Keith Thurman, but he couldn't even stop him. So what does that say about Pacquiao? And
I don't know what that says about a guy who's about to fight a 35-year-old if you're talking about past primes.
But
and
understand that
and
Thurman,
also what
Thurman had a lot of injuries. So
yeah,
he was out of the ring for a long time, you know.
So this guy said, okay, you guys fought a lightweight in Figueroa when he couldn't knock him out. Well, the same thing happened with Pacquiao when he fought Broner. Broner's a lightweight too, and he couldn't knock him out. So
we're not talking about. First of all, Manny doesn't have to win by knockout. Manny doesn't have to win by knockout. Well, here's the consistency. Let me talk and quit interrupting me because you two keep interrupting me and I don't get my point out. So here's the thing: it doesn't matter if Manny that he doesn't have to win by knockout. That's you guys are trying to make it sound like Ugas actually has the power to turn this fight around. Now, please tell me how he does when he can't hurt Figueroa. He can't knock him down. This is a lightweight. He's naturally bigger than this man.
He did.
You keep saying
he did knock, dude. He did knock down Figueroa.
And why couldn't he stop him though? But why couldn't he? Why couldn't he stop him?
Why couldn't Pacquiao stop Thurman?
No, you're not answering the. You're not answering. Hold on, you're not answering the question. Why couldn't?
You're changing the narrative around to try and make a point that you're still failing at.
Yeah, why couldn't Ugas? Why couldn't Ugas? Why couldn't Ugas? Why couldn't Ugas?
We're talking about Ugas.
Why couldn't Ugas? Why couldn't? Why couldn't Ugas? Why couldn't? Why couldn't Ugas? Why couldn't Ugas? Why couldn't Ugas?
Hey guys, let BDA fucking ask his question, please.
Why couldn't Ugas stop Figueroa?
I'm waiting.
Figueroa had good defense.
Ramos stopped Figueroa on the Andy Ruiz Ariola card.
Thank you.
Can I say something too now?
Well, hold on, fellas. I want these two guys. I want this guy who
I was
answers.
just saying, Yordenis Ugas.
Yes.
Hey man, you gotta listen to BDA at least when he's talking.
Yeah, well, you gotta answer. Well, hold on, you gotta answer the question though. You can't make a point and then when I ask a question, you take 5 minutes to answer a question. Why couldn't Ugas stop Figueroa?
Yeah, and I was about to say
Figueroa had a chip.
I was about to say right now.
Beat up with his style.
Hey, can I ask? Hey, hold on, one more week. I'm asking Chichimek here.
Oh, because Figueroa was running, and I also want to say about this. You guys said that you guys couldn't stop Figueroa, but Abel Ramos did. Well, you guys took Figueroa's soul. That's why. Kind of like the same way Andre Ward took Kovalev's soul, and then Kovalev started getting knocked out more and more after Ward.
Hold on. Okay, Chichimek.
He took his balls by hitting him there.
Hold on, please. You said the first thing you said, Figueroa was running. Can you please show me where Figueroa was running against Ugas?
Yeah. Do you want to watch the fight right now?
Yeah.
Is that your comeback?
Yeah. So I can show you like what rounds exactly he was running.
Was he running throughout the fight like Rigondeaux did?
Not as bad, but yeah, I mean, kind of, yeah.
Okay, give
me. I don't even think Rigo was. But
give me a timestamp.
Rigo wasn't because Rigo was hurt. It's only running when you're hurt. Rigo was
using timestamp, please. Give me a timestamp, please. When was Figueroa running?
Okay.
And just trying to survive throughout the whole fight.
around round 6 through like round 9, I would say around there. He was,
Specific round and specific time, please. Not just between round 6 and 9.
Okay, right there, he's
fighting off the ropes.
He's hurt. No, but that's not
running.
At him right now. He's this is it. Like,
Chichi, man, come on, man.
Give
Listen,
the timestamp.
I don't know
We're
if you're
watching
trying.
the timestamp, and he's not running.
Chichi, man, I don't know if you're trying to troll or if you're just too high again, like you were the last time. But you're not making great points, so you're kind of wasting people's time here because we're trying to have a good conversation, and you just keep throwing in.
There.
Bro, he said, how come Manny
touching
didn't
down.
stop Broner? Medina couldn't stop Broner, bro. What the fuck, man?
Broner's never been stopped before.
First of all, we're
Thurman's
still
never been
talking
stopped
about.
Look how
before.
much Ugo was.
Wait, we're
look how much
talking
he's
about
glitching.
Ugas's power. We're talking about Ugas's power. We're talking about Ugas's power. I'm going to say this 3 more times to get it through your head that you're not making a point by switching the narrative over to Manny. We're talking about Ugas's power. It has nothing to do with who Manny did or didn't stop, did or didn't hurt, did or didn't drop, or did or didn't fight.
Yeah, but Chief, fucking Ward took fucking Kolov's soul, dude.
I hear your sarcasm. I'm still waiting for a point.
Hey, by the way, Chichimek said now Chichimek said, look at how much holding he's doing. You told me he ran. Now you're saying, now I'm showing you proof that he didn't, and now you're saying, well, he's clinching. Which one? Why are you changing your mind?
No,
instead
he
of
was
why,
running and
Chichimek,
holding.
Chichimek,
He was running
why
and
aren't
holding
Chichimek, why don't you just admit you're wrong?
I'm not wrong though, because the thing about it is he was
you're
running,
banned,
and there's
man.
different.
You're banned.
No,
You're banned. You're banned. I mean, I told you the last time. These guys are trying.
Has he ever been wrong in his life? Just ask him.
I mean, look, did you hear what he said afterwards? Did you hear? He said, well, I said he ran at Ugas. That's not what you said, motherfucker. I don't got time. We have a full panel here. People are trying to make points, and I have to keep interrupting to try to school this guy. I don't got time for this shit. And don't call Chichimek. Chichiman, don't call in next time and say, can I come back on the Discord? No, you can't. You had your second chance. I don't give third chances. Sorry about that, fellas, but I just had to make a point with this. This is ridiculous. All right, let's go.
I like that. That was kind of funny, but I think you should give him a third chance. Third time's a charm.
Yeah, he is kind of funny, bro. I kind of laughed when he said Ward took Kolova's soul, like Kolova didn't fucking get robbed or it wasn't a close fight.
Yeah.
But well, you know what? I mean, I just don't like the reasons why he said it. It wasn't like because he was trying to make a legitimate comparison. He was saying it because he knows it would rub salt. Everything about that kid, everything he said and says is in the basis of trying to rub salt in people's eyes to get them going.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It confuses the people, man.
Hey, but you know what? Hey, hold on, Chief. One last thing, and then we move on from this because this fucking guy was a troll. But don't forget, he also brought in a guy that sounded exactly like him. Was probably his brother or cousin or something. And because the guy needed backup because he saw we weren't letting him getting away with this. We kept asking questions. So anyway, listen, Chief. Let's move on to the actual fight itself. Because look, I think it's I think I get the sense that you seem to think that Pacquiao is on a whole other level, and I agree. As in his prime, but he's no longer in his prime. I mean, would you be surprised if Ugas is able to pull out a close win tomorrow?
No, well, for several reasons. One, no, I wouldn't be surprised because he should be younger and fresher, even though he's 35, and we have no idea how many amateur fights he had down in Cuba. But on paper, he looks like he's younger and fresher. Taller, he is. There's a lot of things in his favor that should go his way, and we haven't seen Manny fight in 2 years. So this could have made Manny fresher, or it could have taken away. We don't know. We won't know till tomorrow night. So there is a possibility here. My point is that everyone's Ugas. Look what he did. Look what he did to Omar Figueroa, a lightweight. Look what he did to Sean Porter, an ill-prepared Sean Porter that didn't make weight. I say that time and time again. It's not that he took on the best of Sean Porter.
I like a prediction. Can I mix?
And also, one more thing about that, Chief. I think I heard his father saying that they were looking to clean up his boxing, and that's the reason he fought like that from the outside. He was giving that style change a try to see how it worked for him.
That wasn't a A+ Sean Porter ready to go. So do I think he still would have won like that? I'm not going to say he would or wouldn't have. I don't know, but the odds are he wouldn't have. So
Hey, can I make a prediction?
Yes, please.
All right, look. This is how I think the fight's gonna go, bro. So look. From what I've noticed of Ugas, he's a good counterpuncher, right? But the thing is, he always slips on his back foot. Bro, I think Pacquiao's going to find him, with the little jab, the leaping jab he likes to throw, like he did Broner, and he may even drop Ugas, right? He may even make him look bad. And when he hurts Ugas, like y'all said Ugas likes to hold sometimes, right? And one of his fights, I think that's what's gonna happen. He gonna do a lot of clinching, and I mean, until he recovers, and then maybe he could pick up the pace. But yeah, that's how I see the fight going potentially.
Yeah. Look, man, and of course, Pacquiao's gonna drop him. He's gonna drop him. And I'm not just trying to sound like a fanboy, but he's gonna drop him. And look, especially if Ugas comes to win and he pressures Manny back, and let's just say, Ugas hurts Pacquiao. Pacquiao's gonna get his get back because we know for a fact that he always goes out on his shield, and he's gonna get his get back, and he's gonna hurt Ugas when he gets hurt, which I don't think he will, but I still think that Pacquiao will hurt Ugas at least twice in the fight.
And this is why I believe Ugas can win. Or let me rephrase that: why I would not be surprised if he wins, because Father Time is completely undefeated. Yep. You know what I mean? Eventually, those legs get old, and obviously, 2 years out of the ring. On top of that, I mean, it's just because he's a great athlete. But yeah, obviously, if he looks old, because he's not going to know until he's halfway or whatever into a couple of rounds, and he's going to know. He'll know himself if, oh shit, the legs aren't there or not. But if he's springing around and bouncing around like he normally does, I'll tell you what, the key for him is this. Ugas is not good on the inside. No Cuban fighter is. That's not where they're taught to fight. Chief has talked about it because of the amateur style. They're raised on that. They're not looking to do scrupums. You know what I mean? So Manny has that uncanny ability of bouncing into your fucking mid-range, into your pocket there, doing business and bouncing out, you know what I mean? And keeping power on the punches. So a lot of people can bounce in and give you a shot. And he's able to do it and make it hurt. That's what's so fucking insidious about him.
And his legs are different. I never seen a boxer like training live like I have seen Manny. Even when he's talking to you, he's shuffling his legs and he's bouncing. He's not taking a break. When he goes into the gym, he's bouncing for 2 hours, almost 3 hours on end. I mean, sometimes he stops, but hardly ever.
Freaky,
even when he's talking to you.
Look at his calves. They're fucking
he's like
insane.
the Energizer Bunny. So
I was just talking to you, Gonzalo. So I was talking along where you're saying his calves are insane. They're huge.
Yeah. Well, so these are good points, and again, like Jimmy said, mainly Father Time. But if I can throw a conspiracy theory in there, this is Manny's last fight with PBC. They can always just kind of make it, if it's ugly, go ahead and give it to Ugas to save him for whatever they want to do with Spencer thereafter. Manny, in my opinion, Manny's going to have to win big to make sure that they don't take it from him, because look what happened last time. He took a fight with a promoter one more time. Bob kept the title.
Uh-oh.
Hello.
Hey, I'm
back.
Hello.
That's it.
I had to log off and log back on. I don't know about anybody else. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Did everything I said come through about the possible fix?
Yes, yep. I heard some of it.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah,
I heard a lot of it.
So, I mean, I don't think everything's fixed, but there is a possibility that they may do it that way. And if I may add one more thing, that not to this fight, but something else, I think Sean Porter and Bud Crawford's going to fall through because they're going to hold out. They're going to bid for money. They're going to tell Porter to hold out for money that the bid won't cover. And then they'll have him fight for the WBC title because he's ranked number 1 when they put Spence as a champion in recess.
You know, to back Boxing Chief's point, PBC has been on a streak of robberies and bad decisions this whole year. I think we've had one every month with PBC this whole year.
No, they've been really bad. But the thing is, I think what's going to happen with the Porter, it's going to go to, obviously it's going to go to purse bid. They're not coming into it. They're not even negotiating anymore. I mean, so that's, it's not surprising. But the thing is, if it goes to purse bid, remember at any time Porter just has to stay with that purse bid because he was already pissed about the split, which is ridiculous. It's 60-40 for Crawford, obviously. And so if he gets 40%, depending on the purse bid, just save that purse bid Triller, I guess, obviously because of the whole fucking thing they're dealing with now, probably not going to be in on it. So even if, they bid $4 million on this fight, do this after you do all the cut-ups and the split-ups, I don't think Porter's going to, he's already said he doesn't want, he thought $2 million was an insult. Remember, that was that was a fucking insult. So he wouldn't take that already. So he could easily just turn around and walk away. It's no dirt off his dick. If Crawford, on the other hand, doesn't like the way it's doled it out or the money offered, if he walks away, he gives up his belt. That's the problem. But anyways, that's that situation.
Yeah, the only way Crawford keeps his belt out of that negotiation and everything else is if Porter walks away.
Exactly.
So what are the chances? I mean, look, the other thing is this. Porter is looking for a big fight. But, I mean, it's if he's pricing himself out or whatever, it's Porter at this point has fought the best welterweights out there. Crawford is the one that hasn't fought them. And yet he appears to be not doing much of much. So, I mean, it just seems like right now the buck stops with Pacquiao, and if he fights the Spence, if Spence comes back. If Spence doesn't come back, what does Pacquiao do after this, if he wins?
Well, to Crawford's defense on that, I mean, Bob, he tried to, I guess, the guys over top and tried to make it. They just didn't want to even bother entertaining. So they're in full. Obviously the PBC started out once they were like, fuck it, we're just going to let it go to purse bid. We're not going to even bother trying to negotiate. Let's see if we can catch lightning in a bottle. Let's see if some other knucklehead throws up ridiculous money. And again, it's no sweat off their dick because they just don't like the money. They just walk away. It doesn't hurt them to walk away besides the negativity of it. If Crawford walks away, he leaves his belt. So, again, Al doesn't do interviews, but Bob's come out and said, that just didn't go good. Nothing happened come from it. So that was their intentions from the get-go.
And like you said, they've been trying. They offered Danny Garcia a career-high payday, and it was never answered. Now, Danny says he never saw it, and I'll take his word for it that maybe Al just didn't send it to him. But I can't remember his name now. It wasn't Bob. It was his CEO that used to work for Main Events. I'll remember his name later. But he sent the offer over. He even was on the boxing rant saying he sent the offer over one time. He was on the radio.
Yeah, that just goes to Heyman. It wouldn't go to DSG. His father probably doesn't know how to use the fucking fax machine, anyways. But
and then Porter,
that would have went to Heyman, and Heyman probably didn't tell him.
And then Porter turns down offers that everybody knows about.
So the $2 million. He said it was ridiculous.
Todd DeBuff, Chief.
No, it's not Todd DeBuff. Even though I know he does work for Todd.
Trampler?
I'll remember it eventually. Like I said, he used to be Main Event's matchmaker. I can't remember his name right now.
Wait, what happened? What?
I don't know. I don't hear him anymore either.
All right.
Does anybody know if there's the co-main dropped because Ugas was supposed to be fighting Maidana, but then so he's moving up to the Pacquiao fight. Who's replacing the co-main?
I think it's Guerrero versus Ortiz. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw. Ortiz looked gaunt in there. This is a guy that was always big for welterweight, and now he's still fighting. 10 years after his prime, he's still at welterweight. I mean, somebody said that it's not going to be a good fight. No, sorry. Jimmy said it could be sloppy, but like I said before, it could be sloppy good. What do you guys think?
Sloppy.
It could be entertaining because fighters that are past their prime,
sloppy and entertaining.
And they get hit more, and their chin might not be that good, so they might get dropped. And it might be entertaining, but it's not going to be at the highest level.
Where are we at?
Ugas, is something wrong with Ugas? I want to say left arm. Is it the left arm? There's something wrong with his bicep.
Yeah, that's why we were trying to. I think it was the right or left, but yeah, it seemed to be swollen a couple of days ago, and then all of a sudden at the weigh-in, it
still is.
It still is, really. By the way, I'll be right back, guys. I'll be right back. You take over.
Okay.
It doesn't look good. It looks very unnatural.
So the last question I had before this telemarketer came in trying to see who I was going to vote for in the upcoming election, interrupted my conversation with you guys was where does Manny go from here, if especially if Porter and Crawford fell apart, and I didn't hear any answers. Can you guys catch me up?
I think he's obligated to fight Mikey, right? That's why he's being sued.
Who is?
No.
Manny Pacquiao by Paradigm or something. Wasn't that a story?
Yeah, the court already ruled on that. Paradigm doesn't have. They lost.
Well, on top of that, is Mikey with Paradigm?
I guess so.
Manny's done this a bunch of times in his career. He's taken money and run. He's done it a few times, taking money from people, because he just, that's what he does. But honestly, I don't know it sounds like he's still he talks a lot about running for president. And, I know like Gonzalo, again, will probably talk because he lives in the Philippines. But if that's his intentions, when's that election? When would that be? Next year, Gonzalo?
May, I think.
Yeah, next year.
May next
then he would go on the campaign trail. Then he would have to hop.
Oh yeah, he's done. Oh yeah, no shit. If he's running next year, that shit's over. It's a wrap after this fight. If he's running.
Yeah, because the party he belongs to, he started, and I think you mentioned it
the last
earlier.
one kicked him out.
Yeah, he's fallen in the favor with his own party because he used to be the president of his party, and they took him out of that position, right?
Because of boxing.
So his party is a new party, and still have to go. There's other parties that are bigger. So in the campaign trail, he would have to go from island to island, supporting his cause, his political campaign
agenda.
Right? Because
So let's say he doesn't win the election, but that's the only way he stays in boxing. What's his next move?
Oh, you mean would he come back after running for president?
Yeah, if he does,
that would take. Doesn't the president think? How long does that take? Like here, it's considered one calendar year. Is it the same over in the Philippines?
Well, even if he doesn't run for president, let's say he runs for vice president, same thing. He will still have to commit to his political obligations. But
no, I'm sorry, Gonzalo. How long is their campaign? Like they open up almost a year before the election. Here, they hit the road. They start campaigning. How long is the duration of the campaign?
Well, like I said, there's like 7,000 islands in the Philippines. They're not all populated, but you have to go through all the.
So it's months. Are you talking months? Are you talking months then? Right?
I'm not sure. I've heard something about that, but I'm not sure. But I know he would be pretty busy. But still, if he didn't run for president, whether he decided to run for vice president or not, he's still senator. So he still got obligations as a senator. You can't just take the whole year off. Bro. He's already taken off 3 months, 4 months, and right.
Yeah, and that's the reason why his old party kicked him out. I believe I remember reading because he couldn't give enough to it.
How is Manny Pacquiao accused of steroids when he's like slim? Like he's just a slim dude. He looks funny right there.
He weighed in 46. Look how big his head is. That's my camera.
It's your camera. He looks
Lance
funny
Armstrong wasn't a big guy. He was slim.
So am I.
Yeah, I get it, but like, don't fucking accuse him of steroids when the guy's like deformed muscles because there's too much steroids in him.
I want to see him come out like he did against Mark. Look at this guy.
Yeah, you can tell he's already got like that platinum shine on his head, like his hair is turning gray.
There's nothing wrong with that, man. When your hair starts turning gray, that shows character.
Exactly. It's maturity, right? Recognize
it's maturity, bro.
A gray bowl. Nothing says maturity like a gray bowl.
Now wait a minute. You know what? You can't buy maturity. You can't buy maturity. That's why I tell all these 19-year-olds that I try to bang. You can't buy maturity. You try to get that from a 20-year-old.
They're not buying it. You're buying it.
Well, I'm buying something after that.
Look at Boo Boy. Look at Boo Boy. God damn, Boo Boy.
Yeah, what about it?
Did you see him lift up his shirt at the media workout?
No, I didn't see that, but you kept going on and on about it. I'm thinking, I'm a little worried.
I didn't go.
Manny Pacquiao's built like a swimmer, right? Manny Pacquiao's built like a swimmer. He's got a swimmer's build.
Yeah.
Typical.
Hey, Peter, that's when I realized I started getting fat.
Like he's on steroids. That guy got a build like he's on steroids.
I started realizing I was getting super fat when I stood next to Boo Boy about 2 months ago, and I was bigger than him.
Yo, wait a minute. You're saying that's funny as hell. Did he reach down and slap your belly like, "Hey, come on, Gonzalo"?
Hey, but by the way,
Boo told Gonzalo that.
Laugh at this guy. Look at Manny how he laughs at this fucking clown. Remember when Bruno was in his face and he was just like, all right.
When who was in his face? What? Who?
Remember when Broner tried to get in his face at the face-off and Pacquiao kept cracking up, like just laughing at him? He's like, oh my God.
You mean just before the draw, right?
I think that's Manny Pacquiao playing you. Like, that's his way of, like, what are you trying to do?
He's seen a million of you.
Yeah, I've seen a million.
The version I got from Manny Pacquiao, like in real life, a lot of people think now that he's always thinking God, that he is, but that he's like a meek type of guy. No, when you're in his presence, he's got like this like this confidence about him, like not arrogant, but he's still like a tough dude. Don't think that you're gonna see him and he's gonna bow down like and like be kind of like meek and super humble. No, he's got like this brashness about him. It's
He's
just
like
the
me.
way he is,
He's
man.
like me.
I mean, people are drawn to him. For
Hey,
some reason.
VDA, he's like me, right?
Yeah, sure.
Let me start
People
crying. He's like
People are
me.
drawn to Manny for some reason. Like I even saw a brief clip on YouTube not too long ago where he's getting ready for a fight, and in walks Floyd Mayweather to give him a hug.
Yeah. A hug.
Even the girls now remember that video, ES News. Let's go, baby. Let's go, Manny. Get some.
That's what I say. It's like me. Like me
But
when
you
I
know
take
what?
off my shirt.
It's interesting though, because there are guys like that, like Manny Pacquiao, who, like Gonzalo said, he's not gonna push you or he's not gonna talk shit. But there's a reason why he loves fighting. It's because he's got something weird inside of him, and it's the same thing. You know who I see it in Alexander Usyk. That guy too. He's a competitor too. Gold medalist. He went to two Olympic
Sport,
gold medals. He went to two.
It's a sport.
It's a sport, but I'm
Anthony,
saying,
how are you?
It's a sport for these guys. I mean, it's a goddamn sport.
I still can't believe that guy said Broner Pacquiao was a draw, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's called sucking off.
It's unbelievable.
Recognize.
The whole hood's seen it. The whole hood's seen it.
Just look at how he responded to Ugas. We'll see who's the real champion. He wasn't quite content with him having his belt. And just look at the face he makes and when he says, I'm taking that belt back, and you're going to see who the real champion is.
For the hood. I'm doing this for the hood.
I think he's above all this shit, man.
Hey, Pete, I'm doing this for the hood in Florida.
Hey, Rodney.
That's right, baby.
You heard the
Florida.
crowd. You heard the crowd. Boo.
So recognize.
Bruno was looking at the clock a lot in that fight, huh? He wanted to get out of there. He had he had reservations somewhere. He was looking up a lot at the fucking time.
He had a reservation for the hood.
Go ahead. No, I was going to recognize something when you're done.
Go ahead. Drop the N-bomb.
Go ahead.
So,
oh, come on, man.
Yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead.
the first person on the board that's going to do that. Anyway, the aforementioned friend that I never mentioned his name on air did another appearance the other day. He started talking about Ugas and Joshua, and he says it's going to be stopped inside of 5 because of the size difference. And it's because Joshua comes out jabbing like there's no other, because one thing he does from the very beginning is he pops that jab. I watched 6 fights in a row today where he doesn't even start to stick a jab until the 3rd round. And I'm like, what are you basing this off of? What?
And his jabs, when he does do it in the beginning, it's like a fucking an arm.
They're pawing. They're pawing. They're pawing, range finding things, and that's going to play right into Ugas's hands.
You like my fucking jab? You like my fucking jab? Come on. You like it?
Yeah, did you guys find it funny that Derek James said that they were not going to be able to attend the Manny Pacquiao fight because he couldn't fly out there?
Okay,
They're not
yeah,
going
I'll be like,
aerospace.
yes, don't attend. Your fighter is not fighting. Bye. You gotta be rude with
Not
these
even
people.
going to the fight.
Listen, his trainer, right? When he would have said that, I'd have been like, "Who gives a fuck?" Anyway, next question. Who do you have winning the fight? I wouldn't care what that guy has to say. Your fighter dropped out. Bye.
Yeah, go sit on the shelf for a little bit. Or better yet, go teach Charlo how to fight.
Uh oh.
But isn't it kind of funny recognizing the sense that the whole conspiracy thing, where he's not even attending, like he's hiding something? That's what I was getting at.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I'm saying if I was Pacquiao, I'd be like, nobody gives. Like as soon as he tried to talk, I would cut in. Nobody gives a fuck. You already dropped out. Get out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the
fuck out of here.
Hey guys, recognize this was.
That's the one thing I like about Canelo. Real quick, if that would have happened with Canelo, I have confidence that Canelo would have said, "Nobody gives a fuck," like in his accent. No one cares what you have to say. Your fighter dropped
Get out of here.
It's my night, man. It's my night.
I was going to say, Pacquiao's people, they made it actually, they had an official announcement July 23rd of just last month that he is officially put his candidacy in for president of the Philippines next May. So they have a whole action committee and everything, so he's definitely running next May. So,
he'll be busy from now to May.
Yeah, this will be his last fight until after the president election.
Right. If he doesn't win, then he may come back. But if he does win, obviously, what president's going to get in a boxing ring? What country's going to let their president?
They wouldn't allow it. They would probably get impeached, dude. Just the security of it alone. Yeah, no, it'd kill the president. He could get a brain hemorrhage. No, it wouldn't happen. So that eliminates him. Then figure it this way: even if he wins, lose, or draw, he's done until at least May June of next year. That'd be the earliest he could even agree to fight anyone.
I'd say
the election's not till May.
August to September, because he's got to get in shape.
Great again.
Well, no, I'm saying that would be when the earliest he could agree to. Yeah, then he would have to go to camp, yada, yada. So actually, in all actuality, the earliest he could fight, say even if he agreed on something in June of next year, like you said, September, October.
Right.
So that's when the next fight would be. That's if he doesn't win.
I heard somewhere that he said that after Ugas, he wants to fight Crawford and Spence. Is that true?
Well, maybe, but then priorities change, because if he becomes president, he'll have a talk with his wife, then he'll see his calendar, and he'll come to understand that the life, everything changes, man. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah, he won't even talk boxing. Once he starts running for president, everybody should concentrate on this fight, and then after that, it's no matter what anybody says, he can say, I want to fight, I want to dig up Muhammad Ali and give him a beating. Don't matter, because he can't even touch boxing again until after May, and he'll be, 43 and a half?
And look, and this is not, and this is not his fault. And sorry, Jimmy. This is the one that dropped out is Errol Spence. Errol Spence, you can't adjust your priorities because other guys fall out. Manny Pacquiao had the complete intention of fighting Errol Spence now, but he fell out all of a sudden. I got to put my life on hold because you fell out to fight you at a future date. Come on, right?
Hello? Is everybody there? Yeah. Recognize. Oh, everybody went silent. I didn't know if I got dropped again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Baba Booey.
You took it right out of my mouth, man.
No, I'm curious. That'd be fucked up if he becomes president. Not for nothing. Did he go to college? I'm just curious. Is that really what he's... I can fight? No. That's really what I just don't...
I think honestly, I think that's what we need. I think we don't need nerds in the place a position like that. We need somebody that can whip ass, knows the consequences of battle.
And I guess, but I was just, as I was reading that article, they were saying he's kind of wimpy in his political, some of his views. I guess he doesn't take the same strong view against China invading in the Southern Sea as the president now. That's one of the things that it says could erode his popularity, unless I read that wrong, which kind of surprised me. You would think he'd be the aggressor on foreign policy, but obviously it's all about advising here around, and it's a party that wants to take advantage of his name and popularity. That's what this is about. I can't see him doing too much in the way of policies. How educated is he on that shit? That's just, I don't know, weird.
Yeah. I mean, look, I hear this right. Isn't Pacquiao like a lieutenant or something? Like he was a general in like the Filipino army or some shit.
I
Well,
think
he's a
he's a
senator
colonel.
now. I don't think he's in the military.
No, he got some rank, but it was just like an honorary title at some point.
Yeah, because that
I'm
would make
pretty
sense.
sure. I'm
Go
pretty
ahead.
sure Manny got his GED like in 2009, bro.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, look, everything that Manny got after, like, just like within the last decade or not, maybe it's not like a legitimate, like, what do you call it in the United States? Your degrees after the bachelor's. What is it?
Well, you get
Master's.
honorary.
Masters,
Yeah, it's
Well,
honorary.
probably
yeah,
nothing like that, but because we know the guy's a dedicated boxer his whole life. He's just a boxer, man, with all these accolades that for me, the ones that really count is the ones that hardly any human being could ever get, like Manny, being an A division world champion, and that just tells you a lot of your character more than any
and,
fucking paper will. I'm not saying
and
that
he's
education
from
is not important. It
Dr.
is.
Pacquiao.
and he's from real poverty, right, Gonzalo? The area he came from is like dirt poor, no running water, no electricity, fucking type poor. So he
I
fought
don't
himself out
know.
of the gutter, unless I'm reading propaganda. But they said he came from one of the poorest areas.
Well, here in the General Santos, I live about 45 minutes away. I don't know how it was about 20 years ago, but there's running water and there's
42 years ago.
electricity. And
42
I
years
mean,
ago,
yeah, you don't make a lot of
right?
money
That's
like
a
in
long
your
time.
job. The what you get paid is not a lot, but there's a lot of fruit bearing trees. You will not die of hunger here like people would die in a city like in the United States because there's just a lot of fruit everywhere. There's rice. I mean, I just hear people talk about that. I don't care to comment too much about that. But obviously they're not rich like the money that you're making. Yeah, but there's a lot of things that are different here that you can't survive. You don't see homeless people roaming the streets like you do in other countries. Maybe in Manila, cities like that, but not really in General Santos or like the rural areas by far. No.
You don't see junkies either. When you have the president with a piece walk up and shoot you in the head. I couldn't
Yeah,
believe
that
those
city
videos.
is
But
really
anyways, yeah.
clean because the president's from Davao, and right there's like no crime really. Like you can leave your bike outside, and a lot of the Filipinos there's a lot of bikes everywhere. Like it's really popular now. You can leave your bike outside, nobody will take it. Like in TJ in Mexico, because if they catch you, you'll probably go to prison and you'll be locked up for years on end. So people, you disregard stuff like that. When I'm around the town, like I gotta carry my son's oxygen tanks to get refilled. And like if I leave them in the back of the truck, I don't have to worry. And I ask the people, "You think they'll steal this from me?" And they'll be out. Don't worry about it. And like I know that in Mexico, if I were to leave something like that in the back of my truck, they will take it. That's just an example that I can mention. It's pretty safe over here. You don't see crime like that. There is, but not as prevalent as Mexico.
That's interesting,
Because
man.
they don't fuck around. They come down on you like a ton of bricks. Police don't fuck around there.
Yeah, if they catch, if the people you stole the bike from catches you, they'll probably chop you up with a machete or something. When it comes to Pacquiao, though, Hall of Fame career, like really quite amazing what he's been able to accomplish, especially since like we said before, he jumped up from divisions. He shouldn't be fighting this division. If he beats Ugas, this is a good opponent for him to have. But the question then also becomes, for you fellas, is Pacquiao better than Mayweather? Is his career better at this point?
Oh, I mean, there's no doubt about it. Whose career is more impactful? You know what I mean? Another thing, 20 years from now, is anybody going to be watching? I'm not talking maybe some early pretty boy stuff, but is anybody going to be watching Money Man Floyd Mayweather fights? Not unless they're sadistic.
Right.
How about
Yeah,
right now?
man. Manny
They're watching that
Pacquiao's
right
an
now.
icon, bro.
Hey, respectfully, I'm gonna disagree. Like, I know y'all had a whole episode on this. I missed it. Y'all were talking about whose career was better, but look, man, like Pacquiao had a way more entertaining career. I don't take that from nobody. Like, of course, even myself, I do believe that. But we talking about boxing resume, like a career. I think about a resume, bro. And Floyd Mayweather still like one of the most important things in boxing is you don't lose. He doesn't have as many belts as Pacquiao, but he also doesn't have as many losses either. So like that's something. I mean, I don't know. It's just.
Pacquiao also
But
has 20 more
who
fights,
fought better
though.
competition? Who fought better
Pacquiao also
competition? I'd
has 20
definitely
more
say
fights.
Manio.
Floyd still has stiff competition. Let's not get it twisted. Like he still fought. Whether you could say they're
Yeah.
in their prime or not, but you know what I'm saying, they were still relevant at the end of the day. So
Yeah, I mean, listen. The whole thing is with the losses is, look. If somebody wants to give it to Mayweather, I can see why. But my thing is, Pacquiao had everything he's done circumvents the losses. Because Sugar Ray Robinson has a loss. That doesn't mean Mayweather is definitely better than him. It just means he went up to 175 to try to take on a guy that was bigger than him, and he was beating him. Mayweather never tried to go to middleweight, which is something that a guy like his contemporary Miguel Cotto did. So anyway, listen, it can go both ways, but I just wanted to get a read on that. By the way, who's this dude, Cardo, in the Discord here? I didn't catch your name yet. Cardo? Going once.
Speak up, Cardo.
Yeah,
Cardo. The boss is talking. Cardo, speak up. The boss is talking.
Cardo 52, who is this? I'm just curious because I see
Hello,
you here.
Carlo. Can I wrap a cord around your neck?
All right. Sorry if you're not
Come
going
on,
to answer.
man.
Oh, he dropped out too.
No, I kicked him out. I kicked him from the room, but he's still in the Discord. But I just want to know who people are here because I don't know. Just all right. We got.
You want me to whack him? I'll whack him for you.
We got L-Dog jumping in.
Oh, what do you got to say to us now, L-Dog?
Well, what's up?
L-Dog, what do you say, kid?
Oh man, I just jumped in. I was listening earlier, but I don't know if the topic's changed. Pacquiao Ugas.
Fire away, brother.
Oh man, I think Pacquiao is gonna. I think he's gonna beat Ugas, and he's gonna beat him clearly. But I just don't know if the PBC are gonna let him leave with that WBA belt, especially now that Virgil is positioned to where if that belt goes vacant, like let's say Pacquiao wins, he's a free agent. He can fight anyone, but also he there's a good chance he just vacates the belt and moves on with his life or something. But with Virgil Ortiz being that guy now to get that belt, I mean, dude, I don't know. The PBC, they want to keep that belt in-house. They want to keep it with Ugas. I got Pacquiao decision. I think it should be clear, but don't be surprised if there's a fucked up scorecard or they just outright rob him.
Yeah, because to your point, dude, I just said before you called, I looked up and they did make it official. He is running for president. The election's next May, so you would imagine he's going to be hitting the campaign trail. They have 7,000 islands. He's got to do a lot of campaigning. So I would imagine with the WBA, they actually sent out. I sent in the Discord a copy of the WBA. They actually let Floyd Mayweather Promotions know that he has to pick the belts he has to give up. They're taking Giovanni Davis's Reggie belts away from him.
Giovanni Davis. Yeah, man.
And he has to fight the winner. He has to fight the winner of Colbert and Roger Gutierrez too. If he wants to keep that 130 belt.
Yeah, I think Ugas is a solid fighter. I just don't think he's good enough to beat Pacquiao. Like, he does some things well, but like he does nothing great. He's great at nothing, but he's good at a few things. That's what I'll say about Ugas. I mean, it's still a good win for Pacquiao because dude's coming off a layoff. He's fighting a world champion, whether people agree with it or not. I mean, it's a legacy defining fight.
Well, let me say this.
I would say boosting, not defining. I think his legacy is already defined.
My bad.
Boosting. Yeah, no, I understand. I knew you meant that. But I mean, you said it already. Although this is all about, is Manny grown old yet? That's all this is. You know what I mean? And because put it this way, Prime Manny, what does he do to you guys? You think?
Oh man, he hattens him.
All right, exactly. So that being said, it all comes down to how old is he? This has always been a barometer about to see how old Manny is. You know what I mean?
Yep. I mean, I'm just
Exactly.
disappointed we didn't get that Spence fight, man. But, I'm still happy to see Pacquiao get back in there with Ugas. I mean, it's entertaining. I mean, shit. Next week we have nothing but fucking Jake Paul versus Woodley. So, enjoy it while you can.
Can I say something too, man? I'm gonna give that kid Jake Paul a little props only on this because everybody shot dogs shots at him. I have too, but he did something with the women box that I thought was pretty cool. He demanded Showtime make sure the women fighting on his undercard were paid better than they've ever been paid in their career. And he's talking Serrano, who's a world champion. So you know what? Good for him. You know what I mean? And I saw an interview with him. He did say a lot of good things. If he beats this kid Worley, that's a tough fucking fight. I mean, this kid's tough. He's fighting. I just want to see him against real boxers. Who's to say how far he goes? He could just get chumped. But I just want to give the kid a props for what he did for those women boxers.
Well, Jimmy, one thing that he's doing that I don't agree. Okay, he's an all right boxer, but he's weight bullying his opponents. He's much bigger than the other guys. How much credit can you give him?
So unfortunately, dude, I didn't divulge that deep into his career. I don't know that much about. I just went by the shit he said, dude. You probably know more than me.
Yeah, about that, yeah.
I think, like with most things in life, it's a mixture of good and bad. I mean, on one side, yeah, it's a shame that if he's on a, fighting, let's say he was fighting the same weekend as like, Stephen Fulton and Brandon Figueroa. It'd be a shame that people aren't going to see that and they're going to watch Jake Paul. But at the same time, it's good if he fights on a dead weekend that maybe some casuals see, what's coming up next weekend and they think, hey, you know what? I enjoyed some of the undercard fights. Why not check that out?
Well, Showtime believes enough in his draw to give him a contract. Oh, sorry, BDA.
Well, I was just going to say, that fight's taking place on Sunday, the Jake Paul fight, just like the Mayweather-Paul fight. So they know not to hold it on Saturdays.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what's up.
In Showtime, Espinoza obviously thinks he brings something. They signed him to a 2-fight deal. So they obviously see the numbers he's putting up. Does any of that translate to any of these kids watch this and get the juices flowing for boxing? I mean, if that comes to fruition, get some, like you said, L-Dog, some casuals, I'm always for that too.
Yeah, you know what? That's the thing, though. When I learned my lesson with the Mayweather McGregor thing, because I remember when they first announced it, I was pissed off because there was still that hope that Mayweather was gonna come back and fight legitimate boxers. But now, in hindsight, he wanted to embark on this type of exhibition circuit. So I got no problem with exhibition fights. Like Jake Paul, of course, if you judge him as a fighter and think, oh man, all these other boxers should be getting TV dates, not this guy. But this is a whole different world he's in. These exhibition fights. It's YouTubers.
Who's he fighting? Who's Jake Paul fighting?
His name is what's his name again? Woodley.
Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley. Yeah.
Woodley. Yeah. He's a former UFC middleweight champ. And he's a strong dude. And even, like Gonzalo said, Woodley's a strong guy. And when you see him face-to-face against Jake Paul looks bigger. So what does that tell you about Jake Paul? This guy's a fucking big dude.
And Jake Paul, he led it in every sport in high school. He was a letterman in football, track, baseball. So the kid's obviously an athlete. You know what I mean?
Willie was a welterweight, and he's been on a bad skid lately. To be honest, he's lost his last 4, and I think he's been stopped in his last 2.
Jeez. So yeah, and this is boxing.
So. Push on that MMA, that Bellator. They're doing a good job with that production right there.
But let me ask just real quick: is anyone picking Ugas?
Maybe I might put some money on Ugas by K. To be honest.
Yeah, I'm picking Ugas.
No, you're not.
Well, let me rephrase: are you picking Pacquiao or are you picking the PBC? Because let's be real, Ugas ain't winning, but the PBC might win.
You know what, L-Dog, that little kiwi fruit, he might have a point because I might bet that draw now.
He just
called old school PBC robbery.
Call him
draw. Because then Ugas retains his belt, right?
If
it's a draw,
a kiwi fruit.
Oh, come on, man! I was hoping you guys would move on from that, but
yeah, what's the?
I don't know what you said. I was like,
yeah, he just called it. No, but look, listen. I'm not gonna discount Ugas' chances. He's got a good chance against a 42-year-old fighter. But I'm telling you, I think everybody knows that if this was prime for prime, nobody would be picking Ugas. So at this point, it all depends on the X factor, which is Pacquiao's age. If age has caught up with him, then Ugas can perhaps pull out a win. But I don't see him schooling.
What's Ugas gonna do, guys? What? Like, I don't want to make an argument amongst like whoever the two guys were before picking Ugas or whatever. Like, that's fair enough, whatever. I don't want to make it into an argument, but like, What in the fuck do you Ugas and Jeff Horn have anything in common? Nothing. And what's his name? Sean Porter and Manny Pacquiao have in common? I can even look at those fights. And
the only thing you can say that. Oh, my bad.
Go.
I was gonna say the only thing you could say that Jeff Horn and Ugas have in common is that they're both underdogs.
Yeah, and that they're strong guys too. But yeah, I mean, it's other than that.
I mean,
it's
Marquez, you're gonna fucking compare Ugas to Juan Manuel Marquez. Number one, he's an all-time great. Number two, he's one of the slickest counterpunchers in the game in history. Ugas is not even. I would see that much counterpunching out of the guy.
Let me ask you this, Pete.
And those triangle theories.
The thing about Marquez is
Pacquiao has fought over 70 times.
But hold on. You guys, first of all, both you and Pete sound very muffled. Both Gonzalo and Pete, you sound very muffled, and you're talking over each other. So
I'm riding a bike that I stole from the Philippines. I'm on a
Okay, I'm gonna get out. Come back.
All right. So Pete, go ahead. Finish your point, please.
No, Gonzalo, jump back on because I'm gonna start breathing heavy. Now the thing is, that Marquez, yeah, he meant to throw the shot, but it was pretty much a blind shot too. It was like a fucking Hail Mary pass. You see his face? He almost got his fucking nose ripped off.
Right.
I mean, his face was like almost literally ripped off like a chimpanzee got off. Pacquiao was killing him.
Yeah, but like a chimpanzee got off. Yeah, but Marquez, he was landing that shot before. He'd landed the shot beforehand. So it's not. There's no such thing as a lucky.
Overhand right. He landed an overhead right that knocked Pacquiao down. It was a knockdown earlier in that fight, but the punch that Pacquiao got knocked out with, it wasn't just Marquez throwing it; it was Manny running into it.
But Pete,
full fucking speed.
Watch after Pacquiao drops him a round later or 2 rounds later, he runs into the same shot from Marquez. It's the same one, and
I just said that. No, I just said that. Yeah, Marquez knocked him down with that shot, right?
No. After Marquez dropped Pacquiao, then Pacquiao dropped Marquez, and when Pacquiao dropped Marquez, he went for the kill and he got clipped with that same right, but he didn't drop him afterwards. Right, so yeah, that wasn't a lucky shot. He planned that shot from.
I mean, Pacquiao does come aggressive. Well, he did. Let's be clear. He has not gone for it since that fight against Rios, against Algieri, against Broner. He has not gone in for the kill like that since. If you notice, he has not gone in for the kill since. So my point is that I know that he landed that shot prior, but the difference is that when he landed it to knock him out, he was getting his fucking ass kicked. I mean, he just threw it. I don't take nothing away from Marquez, but he just threw the fucking thing, and Pacquiao ran flush into it. Now, could you guys do that? Sure. Algieri could have done that. Broner, I mean, fucking Chocolatito could knock Manny Pacquiao out if he runs straight into a fucking full speed right hand, yes. But
wait a minute, Pete, do I hear chimpanzees in the background?
Yeah, you the zoo or something? What the fuck?
Is that me? No, seriously. Look, you're making me think I'm going insane.
Hey, Jimmy, he's in the zoo. He's by the zoo.
Oh,
I was gonna make a joke, but
I got a big hanging tire. Yeah, this is my studio apartment at the chimp farm.
Calm down, Eldo. Calm down.
A big swinging tire, tire on a rope right here. I'm swinging on it right now.
Well, listen. I mean, the point is that I think we can all agree that Ugas, if he wants to fight Pacquiao, he's gonna have to say, look, I'm willing to get into this type of exchanges. I'm willing to take a shot. I'm willing to get hurt because you're not gonna stand out on the outside. And Ugas can't. I don't think he can do it. Stand on the outside and convincingly beat Pacquiao. Maybe he could edge it. Maybe they could give him the benefit of the doubt. But man, it's gonna be a hard one for him. And I think it's gonna be a hard one for Pacquiao if he's not on point.
I don't see anything in that last fight of Pacquiao. Of Ugas is that. I'm sorry, man. I'm not trying to shit on the guy, but what are we talking about here? He didn't take his head off the line. That's a major
he's
problem with Pacquiao.
Kind of like a sitting duck, right? I'm not saying he'll get knocked out, but he's easy to hit.
He feints with his arms. He puts his glove. He feints down with his gloves like Lomachenko does. Like where he just kind of like bolos his gloves to the ground, both of them. Like he just rotates his elbows. But like, if you don't take your head off the center line and you keep your feet fucking 4 miles apart, what? What does Pacquiao have to have in him to take an angle on that? I mean,
height.
Is it worth betting 100 on to win 30? No.
Would you stop it with your fucking gambling, man?
Well, well, I'd say the reason why a lot of Ugas' stance like that is because he's a taller welterweight on the taller side, and he's got length. So with that wide stance and that kind of pullback, even if his head's on the line, it's still out of range for a lot of other welterweights, and he seemed to have developed that way.
But Jimmy, this is where I see the disadvantage with that range and that pullback, and him having the longer arms. This is where him having the longer arms is a disadvantage against the guy
because
with the
Manny will
shorter
bounce
arms.
to the side. Manny will bounce into the inside from an angle.
When you pull the trigger a little back, and the other guy steps in, kind of like what I talked about when Valdez fought Burchell. Burchell likes to cock back a little, and when you pull a little back and the other guy punches forward, man, that split second when you're pulling back as the other guy's pulling in, that's what's going to be the difference. It's going to give the advantage to the guy with the shorter arms. The longer arms, you got to wind back a little more.
And Thurman did. That's what Thurman did.
What's
to get
that?
clipped, remember? That's what Thurman did to get clipped.
Yeah.
When you have a wide stance like that, it's easier to get knocked down because you're off balance. When if somebody closes on you on the side at an angle and catches you, because if you go to bring your feet together, one foot's usually off the ground. Manny, a lot of his knockdowns, he takes advantage of people's feet being in the wrong position.
Oh yeah, because if you got a wide stance and somebody changes the angle on you, then you're facing the fighter when he's squared up. He's got no foot to fall back on.
You know what, man? The thing about that is, fucking Thurman tried to time Pacquiao coming in. And in fact, before the fight, I remember thinking, man, if he can make Pacquiao just jump in and get wild, he could Marquez him. But Thurman has quicker hands than Ugas, and he couldn't get him out of there the way Marquez is. So if anybody's banking on catching Pacquiao coming in, it's going to be extremely hard, man. So, I mean, Ugas, I don't know what to tell him.
They don't fight enough. Thurman was ring rust. His timing sucked. It's all comes from fucking fighting a lot.
Yeah, even in the weigh-in today, just if you notice the weigh-in and yesterday, the last press conference, Ugas looked nervous, and in the weigh-in today, when he was sizing up Pacquiao, he started moving like he was trying to get into rhythm, how to throw combinations, sizing up the smaller fighter, and Pacquiao was staring back at him. You could tell that Ugas is a little shook because he understands that Pacquiao fights in a different rhythm. Just look how he tries to mimic that he's doing something like throwing a lot of punches. He knows that that's going to be difficult for him. Just go back and watch the weigh-in.
I will watch it.
Plus the enormity of it all. Plus just the whole, you know what I mean? The size of it. Everything, all eyes on him like this. He's never experienced this kind of scrutiny. And it's hard, man. It's a hard thing to get used to. Nobody's used to that. Especially if you're kind of more on the shyer side.
Gee, Jimmy, it's like fighting me, right? It's like meeting me for the first time.
It's just overwhelming.
It's too much for people. You know. It's too much for people, right? Recognize?
It's too much for people.
Especially since you're 64.
And Pacquiao's crazy, man. I think he gets off like all of a sudden, like he feels himself like with adrenaline, like in these fights, big moments. When he's staring down his opponents, he looks like that dude Debo. His eyes kind of cross, like that dude Zeus from that movie Hulk. Hulk Hogan. What's that guy that died? Yeah, he's got that stare. It's fucking crazy stare.
Got my father.
Well, you know what? One thing we'll see is because Ugas, he likes to jab to the body. I think if he goes low against a shorter guy, he's gonna get countered. I think his best bet is he's probably gonna try to stand his ground a little bit, and then as soon as he takes the power, he's probably gonna say, you know what? Let me just try to counter Pacquiao.
Best bet is to cash the check.
If I were Ugas, I'd use a similar strategy to the Porter fight. Try be on the front foot. Try target the body of Pacquiao since Pacquiao's stamina is no longer that good. Like to me, Pacquiao's a fighter with seven rounds in him. He really only has 7 good rounds. So if you target the body, you might bring that down to 5. And if he only has 5 good rounds, you got a good chance of beating him then.
That's a good point, Pat. And you know what? This fight's also going to let us know what Pacquiao has left. Because, Ugas, if anybody else would have beaten him, Errol Spence, Andy Garcia, they would say, "Well, that's one of their biggest wins, right?" That's what most people would say. "Well, he beat Ugas. He's kind of like the dark horse of the division." Pacquiao's taking this guy on, so if he beats him, it lets us know how he can still compete against some of these youngins. Because the last time we saw him was 2 years ago.
Pacquiao sees it, even though he's older, right? Pacquiao sees it as what's Ugas to Margarito, De La Hoya, Cotto, Shane Mosley, all those guys, right? He's like, who I can handle that dude. That's how he sees it. Now he might be wrong, maybe because he's older, but there's a very good chance that he's exactly right about who Ugas is and could beat him even at 42.
Exactly. Yeah, that's going to be interesting, man.
About Errol Spence too.
What's
he's going to fight Errol Spence. Yeah.
I mean, well, put it this way: recognize. Did you think that version that we saw against DSG would have beaten Pacquiao? Didn't like me? Did you? Yeah, me either. I would have had Pacquiao beating.
I see Spence on the same level, even if he could beat him, than Ugas. And what I mean by that is, like, look at Ugas' fight with Porter. It was a close fight. Whoever you thought won, it was a close fight. Same thing with Spence. Now, I don't like to play the triangle theory because Spence could probably go in there and blow him out for all we know. But more or less, they're the same level. They're the same level of opponents.
Well, listen.
I don't know about that one because I don't.
I agree. I thought you guys beat Porter.
Yeah, I thought he did too.
A lot of people thought Porter beat, and a lot of people thought Porter beat Spence.
I thought Porter. Well, not a lot of people thought that. Some people.
No, a lot of people thought that.
No. Let's be honest. It wasn't a lot of people who thought that.
Recognize the narrative has changed. The narrative has changed. Now it's Spence blew Porter out of the water. It was a
he didn't blow him out. It was a competitive fight, but it's like saying it to me. It's like saying, oh, well, a lot of people thought Wilder beat Fury in the first fight. It's like, no, a lot of people didn't. Some people did. And to be honest, most of the people who
one of the judges thought that Porter won that fight 8 rounds to 4.
I mean, given the state of judging, is that
like, but you know that Spence is the guy who got the privilege, right? When it comes to Spence, Porter, who has the privilege there? You wouldn't say Porter, right?
Yeah, but
I mean, Porter sure as hell had the privilege against Ugas.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is,
I don't know. I don't think anyone actually what I'm saying, hold on. That Porter beat him.
Spence did not blow out Porter. You fucking crazy if anybody thought Spence blew out Porter.
Well,
then you don't want to blow out.
Yeah, even if it was a 115, 113 type of fight. Yeah, it was like a Strada Chocolatito, where like everybody thought that Chocolatito, or mostly everybody thought that Chocolatito won, but
and a lot of people thought Porter won that fight.
Yeah, there were some that thought Strada won, but the majority.
And I thought he looked,
won.
And I think Spence looked even worse against DSG. I don't think he looked super hot that night. And I'll tell you right now, if that version was going to be fighting Pacquiao, I would have put my money on Pacquiao.
Right.
Did you hear what so I saw it yesterday. I think it was Lance Pugby interviewed a guy who operated on Abner Mares' eye. He said for an injury like Spence, and after the operation, that's 6 months to a year out of the ring.
Oh.
So this dude is gonna be out for a long. That Pacquiao fight with him is just not gonna happen because by the time he's cleared, Pacquiao probably has political commitments that he needs to take care of, and I don't know. Spence will need a tune-up, and at that point, it's like Pacquiao will be 44, 45 years old.
Yeah, start getting ridiculous at that point. Yeah,
Spence will be a cyborg by then.
He's definitely, after this fight, it's over. There's going to be no more boxing for him until at least May of next year. By then, and again, that's if he's had a detached retina, which I don't believe at all. I know that's the new thing. It went from a slight tear, which would make sense because he was walking around with it, sparring, had a whole fight with Danny Garcia. You don't have a whole fucking boxing match with a detached retina. You know what I mean? Like, that's just such ridiculousness. So I don't believe for a second it was an actual detached retina. You don't need a doctor to catch that. Believe me.
He's not going to be able to be bouncing around with that thing healing. Maybe he is, maybe because things have changed where surgeries are less invasive, like you said, Jimmy. But he's definitely not going to be sparring anytime soon in the near future. And also, with all these injuries, like the car wreck and the detached retina, that has to take something away from your confidence. It has to take something away, thinking that if you get hit there again, that you're gonna get hurt again. That's the way I feel, man.
It could
Dude,
be, man.
it's
Listen,
the car accident that scratched his face up and had to, he had to get a bunch of teeth replaced. Now his fucking eyeball needed surgery. Like the dude's face his punch resistance is gonna be
He's
gone,
literally a
man.
cyborg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Like
shit!
he's not
If I
even
get popped in my
limited.
mouth, oh damn! I lose my gum shield like I did against Danny Garcia because I can't clench my teeth. I'm not aware where my teeth belong in my face. He dropped the gum shield. Oh, if I get hit in my eye, my face is falling apart. He got cut against Danny Garcia as well. Shit like that, man. The confidence, his mind's playing tricks on him.
yeah, that could be, man. That could be, and yeah, it's a shame that this guy he was disappeared from 2019 all the way until October or November 29, a whole year off, and now another year off, perhaps. I mean, it's just it's about it's an unfortunate thing. But hey, listen,
It's the way
BDA
with all
taking
the PBC
medication.
welterweights.
BDA and taking medication like Percocet, probably oxycodone, having to rest because you can't really work out, gaining all that weight. That's another one.
yeah, like we said, he's probably not gonna be sitting around reading books and playing chess. He's probably gonna be trying to, he's a listless. He likes the high octane life. So if he can't do that, I hope for his sakes that he stays away from any shenanigans and actually sticks to trying to stay healthy until if he can come back. So that's what we gotta look for. Listen, fellas, we've been on for 2.5 hours. We gotta go. Hopefully everybody enjoys. Hey, okay, let's get some predictions. GB Guthrie, your prediction. Who do you think wins this one? No, sorry, is it GB Guthrie or Straight G Tour? Straight G Tour, sorry, GB. Straight G Tour. You want to give us your prediction for Pacquiao Ugas?
Pacquiao, but like I think Pacquiao makes Ugas look like Broner. He clowns him.
Okay, so unanimous. Did you say decision or KO?
Probably a decision because Pacquiao doesn't really KO, but he still is gonna fuck him up.
Okay, Pacquiao decision. Let's go to Senpai. Senpai, who you picking?
Man, I think either we're gonna get a close fight that is gonna be given to Ugas.
Oh.
That should have been given to. It's gonna be a robbery, basically what I'm saying.
Okay,
or the other scenario is gonna be a Pacquiao at Jerry type of fight, or Pacquiao is just gonna be on him, but and drop him a couple times, but I don't think he'll knock him out.
All right,
and
so you're saying
if he drops him a couple times, he won't. There's no way he can get robbed, If it's a close fight, it's gonna go to Ugas.
I'm going to allow this double possibility world here. Pete, who you got? Pete? He's getting attacked by seagulls right now. That's what happens in Florida. Recognize
the birds. I'm in the middle of the birds right now. No, the thing is, no, I'm gonna give it to Pacquiao. Obviously, decision. But I'm gonna say if there is some fuckery, it's gonna be a split decision. Even though it should be.
Probably.
Wasn't Broner split? Wasn't Broner a split decision? I'm serious too. Wasn't Broner a split the scorecards?
No.
No, I might be fucked up. No.
A little bit. You're a little fucked up. A little bit.
It's gonna look like the Broner fight. Whoever said that's right on the money. Smart man.
Let me just hold on a second.
Was it a split decision? Probably. Who knows? I don't fucking know.
No, it was unanimous. I just checked. It was unanimous.
All right.
Yeah. But it will look like the Broner fight.
Recognize who do you have?
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. Wait. I thought you were done.
I've been done a long time ago. Pacquiao. Come on. Jimmy by the fight.
Ansu Mao. All right. Recognize who you got. No, Recognize getting attacked by seagulls as well. Let's go to Main H. Main. Well, how do you say your name again? Main H or Main A? Hey, can you guys hear me?
Just call me Eddie, bro.
Eddie. All right.
Yeah.
Eddie, who do you got? Official.
You know what? It really just depends how old Pacquiao looks in there, but I just go on a limb and say Pacquiao. I'll give it 6-round KO.
Whoa. All right, somebody's going for the KO. All right, Jimmy, how about yourself?
Yes. Mind you, to start on my personal affairs, buddy. No, I would say that Pacquiao, Pacquiao is gonna. I think Pacquiao will beat him, but you never know what the PBC, the actual decision. Who knows? It's all about, does Heyman want Pacquiao to win, hopefully to draw him, but then he's got to gamble that he doesn't win the election. That's a lot of fucking things riding on that. Is it the safe bet? Say fuck it, let's keep that belt in house, and therefore let's give it to Ugas. So I'd say Pacquiao beats him overall, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's some PBC fuckery going around and they raise Ugas's arm.
All right, so you're saying Pacquiao.
That's all I got.
You're like Senpai. You're saying Pacquiao, but they could.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's if they give it to Ugas because of some PBC fuckery.
Look at Pete right at that bike.
It's a shame we have to like that. I'm my glass Joe. Yo, it's a shame we have to think like this. Like ponder all this fucking fuckery. Judges, funky judges.
Well, that's what boxing is all about, man. Gonzalo, how about you? What's your prediction?
I have a question about what Jimmy said though. Before we go on to the rest of the picks, just real quick, Gonzalo, this is the last fight between Pacquiao and Al, correct?
Yes, on their contract, their 3-fight deal. Yes, he's not obligated to fight for Al after this.
Yeah, that's. Yeah. All right, go ahead,
Gonzalo.
Yeah, the fight that comes to mind, and you guys are gonna think that I'm crazy, but the style. I think that Ugas fights a little bit like Cotto, man. But Cotto, the difference is he's quick on the trigger. But you gotta remember, Cotto was also a counterpuncher. Yes, he's not as big as Ugas, but he's got more power. But then this is not the same Manny. I think Manny will put pressure on Ugas, and he'll kind of will react like Cotto did. He's gonna get dropped twice, trying to counter Pacquiao, because Ugas got the long arms, and there's a lot of space in between that body, to where when he cocks that shoulder back to try to throw, that right hand, which is a little wide, Pacquiao's gonna step in hard and sudden, and close that approach, and he's just gonna be able to catch Ugas all the time. He's gonna be, and that's gonna be too much. That's gonna be too much for Ugas, and he's gonna succumb, getting dropped twice, and possibly getting stopped in the 11th round. And I know this is not the same Pacquiao that was against Cotto in 2007, and Cotto is not the same fighter that Ugas is. But that's the fight that comes to my mind. Obviously, Cotto being Ugas being slower, that allows the older Pacquiao to have those moments like he did against Cotto. When the counter puncher and Ugas is gonna try to catch Pacquiao, he's going to be second to the punch. Pacquiao's going to be first. And that's going to overwhelm Ugas, and they're going to throw in the towel in the 11th round. Or the referee's going to stop it.
To
me, it made a lot of sense what I said. But to follow my words, it's just a little back and forth. But
can we agree with you and still think you're crazy?
Yeah.
No, but right, Gonzalo, it made sense. It makes a lot of sense what you said, that Pike is gonna find one punch that he can counter, because that's what essentially he does against slower guys. He's got the speed advantage, and Ugas, I wouldn't call him slow, but he's definitely slower even than a 42. And let's not, like I keep saying, Ugas is 35, and probably older because he's Cuban, so he's no spring chicken either. All right, it's not dog
he's not a kid himself.
Exactly. By the way, hold on a second. Did I miss a super chat a while back? Norman Lewis, shout out to Norman Lewis, who said Floyd's career was choreographed. Manny took and takes risks, unlike Mayweather. Oh, shout out to Norman Lewis. Listen, Mayweather took risks, but he didn't take as many as Pacquiao did. And with the risks and
they were more calculated.
Right, and the risks that Pacquiao took paid off more than the ones that Mayweather took. Let's just put it that way. By the way, we recognize wasn't there. Recognize, you still there? Recognize.
I'm still here.
What was what's your prediction for the fight tomorrow?
Oh, let my beautiful music play. Oh, okay. No, I'm with Gonzalo, man. I think he's gonna stop Ugas anywhere from round 1 to round 12. No, I'm just kidding. I say he stops him in the.
What's the money line on that?
I don't know.
Degenerate gambler of the crew.
Yes.
I think he could stop him. I think he could stop him somewhere around the 9th round. If not, if he doesn't stop him, I think he beats him 12 rounds and maybe he scores a knockdown. But Gonzalo makes some good points about like how he kind of reminds me of Cotto. Not really, he doesn't remind me of Cotto, but here's the thing: like, there's a good chance that Pacquiao is still fast enough where he makes this guy look slow. So he's just beating him to the punch. I can see him splitting, it's kind of like splitting that line and like playing defense, slipping punches, catching
hook over
Ugas,
hook over his
hook over his jab. I can see all that stuff playing in. So I'm gonna go with Pacquiao probably beating him, stopping him in the later round, somewhere like round 10 or 11.
All right. Well, there we have it, fellas. Predictions have
You ever
been.
notice Pacquiao just does not. It's just maybe it's just subconscious, but he just doesn't jump in there like he ever again after that. Against Rios, against Algeria, against Broner, he could have gone the whole second half of the fight. But I can't blame him. You know what I'm saying? But he's just not. I don't think he's going to risk that.
Well, listen, tomorrow night, if he risks a little something, he could get a stoppage, and that's against a top welterweight, younger as well. So, listen, it could pay off for him.
And I was going to say, BA, real quick, man, we're going to have a talk with Pete again. I can't believe he keeps talking about betting. Didn't you have to give him money to put the lights back on?
I gave you fucking money to put the heat back on. Yeah. Oh, but that's a good one from Jimmy.
Your wife called me and said you ordered pizzas with that money?
Hey, by the way, shout out to Trill Ballis for his contribution via Super Chat. Says, if I'm Pacquiao, I target that left arm of Ugas. Oh, that's vicious. But it's
that. You see that?
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, we did. I mean,
Hey, P, is that why you're riding a bike now? Because you gave up all your cards for your cat.
Tell me you didn't gamble a truck away. Tell me you didn't gamble a truck away, and I'll pull the money to put the lights back on.
I'll give you the fucking money, all right? Listen, this substitution's been coming for a while, though. Don't you think? I mean, let's be real.
What, the substitution to your bike over a car?
The substitution of gravity.
Okay.
All right, well, listen, fellas. With that being said, we have to go. But thanks to everybody who joined, all the panelists. I want to give a big shout out to. Hold on a second, because I can't see your names. All right, Straight G, Turo, Senpai, Pete, Recognize, Eddie, Jimmy, Gonzalo. Those two other fellas that dropped by. Certainly had something to say. Certainly had something to say about that. L Dog dropped by as well. The Chief was here as well, and other people whose names I forgot because they didn't stick around that long, and I haven't really seen it before. But shout out to everybody that joined the panel. Shout out to everybody in the chat room: Norman Luis, Evan Deere, Vince Vegas, Tony
Shout out all the
Yayo.
slick black fighters out there.
That's
Shout out all
right.
the slick black fighters out there.
Exactly. Triple V, Grievous, everybody that donated the super chat, such as It Was All a Dream, Texas Bulldog, Get These Hands, Norman Luis,
It was all a dream.
And Trill Ballins. Thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate it. Catch you in the next one.
After this for Jimmy and Matrix?
I'm living the dream, Pete. I'm living the dream, Pete.
Well, listen, you can, as always,
He's determined to talk to the whole ending.
Yeah, he just wants to talk to the whole ending. Listen, before Pete interrupts me again, let me just say that you can stay in this voice channel, but it's a public one. So if you start talking about things you don't want everybody else to hear, anybody can jump in on this room.
E-R.
All right, listen, fellas, I gotta go. Shut up.
What BA says?
No, I gotta go.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not.